Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and this is a wild, wild brew made entirely possible by Modern Horizons 2. This is Ragstill, which is a Jeskai Ragavan deck featuring Standstill and Urza Saga. I don't know how the originators of this deck came to this list because it doesn't make sense to my brain. Like, what you have to do in your brain to come up with these numbers and this overall strategy is just incredibly impressive. And I have to imagine the process was something like, let's put 4 Ragavans and 4 Urza Sagas in the list and then flesh out the list around it. Because this is a weirdo. We have 4 Ragavan, 1 True-Name Nemesis, 2 Murktide Regent. So the creatures in this deck are 4 1-drops, 1 3-drop, and 2 7-drops. And then 4 Urza Saga. Among the 22 lands in this deck, control decks play 19 or 20 lands in this format, and this deck has 22, despite being a Ragavan Daze deck. That's just really weird. We got 3 Stifles. Why not 2? Why not 4? I don't know, but there's 3 of them. And 2 Standstills, which I do have some experience with this card, and my Sharkstill deck is down to 3 Standstills in the main deck, so it makes sense that this deck that's even less dedicated to it has 2. So that's smart, and I do agree with it. It's not that I don't think the rest of this is smart, it's just very, very fascinating that these particular numbers were come to. 2 Lightning Bolt, 1 Prismatic Ending. So basically what we got here is we want to put the opponent in the spot where they have to navigate a Ragavan through Daze and Force of Will, as if we're Izzet Delver. And then, suddenly, they got to deal with Urza Saga as well. If you hear thunder and booming behind me, by the way, it is a raging thunderstorm near my house. I feel like that's been happening a lot lately while I'm recording. That's summer in the northeastern United States for you. This deck, basically what it's doing is Ragavan requires a specific type of answer, mostly a cheap answer, and an instant because of dash. Like sorcery speed removal can't answer a Ragavan if you're choosing to dash around it. True-Name Nemesis requires a sweeper to get rid of, or a counterspell. And then Murktide Regent doesn't get hit by stuff like Lightning Bolt or Abrupt Decay. You need unconditional creature removal for this one. Then Urza Saga is a nonstop parade of constructs. Once the removal has been taxed on these other weirdos, Urza Saga comes in, and then Saga can pull out Retrofitter Foundry, which is another nonstop stream of attackers. All the while, you have to navigate Daze and Stifle like it's a Delver deck. Like, I'm just really fascinated by this. It's not often that I see a Legacy deck and I'm just like, whoa, how do we get here? And reverse engineering how they got here, or why the cards are in the deck, is still pretty reasonable, still pretty easy to do, but what the people who made this deck had to do to get to this list is just impressive. This list is not just some mess I found on the internet. This won a Magic Online Legacy Challenge, and then the following weekend it got first and second in the same Legacy Challenge. This is a proven list, at least 3 top finishes over the course of the last week with it, and I'm stoked to try it, because every card in this deck is a card I would want to play with, basically except for Ragavan. That's not really my style, but if we can turn Standstill into a Ragavan deck, sign me right up. So let's get into this and see how hard we can push Modern Horizons 2. I'm on the draw in round number 1. And before we get started actually playing this league, I just want to thank Lauren from my Patreon Discord for letting me borrow Urza Saga. Card Hoarder sponsors this channel, and I get a $500 loaner account as part of that sponsorship. And that's not even close to covering this deck. This is just a brief aside on the price of Modern Horizons 2 card. Ragavan was like $450 for these 4 rags just by itself. Murktide Regent is a $33 card. There's 2 of those in the deck. That's $500 already. We're over $500. The Urza Sagas are $50 bills, so that's another 2 bills. And luckily I own duels and fetches already. Like, I actually just have those, don't need to borrow them. But this is like a $1,200 deck. And even borrowing Urza Sagas from Lauren, thank you so much, my $500 loaner account, I still had to buy a Murktide Regent myself, and I bought the 3 Prismatic Endings myself, and that ended up pulling it to like $498 and change, just for 4 rags and Retrofitter Foundry. I think those were the 5 cards that I borrowed to play this league. It's insane. Anyway, thank you, Lauren, for making this possible. I'm going to keep this hand. It doesn't have a turn 1 Rag, which is kind of the plan, but it does have a turn 2 Standstill, and it has a Wasteland, and it has a bunch of cantrips. Like, this is still a Legacy hand, though I don't know if I should be mulling for Rag, or like what the actual plan of this deck is. But if I can do some Standstill stuff, I'm going to be pretty happy with that experience. Oh wait, I'm on the play. Wait. No, I'm not. What? They just confused me. They like started doing stuff, then stopped doing stuff, and then I thought it was my turn somehow because I'm busy talking. All right. I'm caught back up. I am on the draw. Let's go. Okay, that was a great draw because I really did not want to fetch or play a non-basic into this Death and Taxes game. So I'm going to fetch a basic island and cast Ponder. I don't have red with this spread of lands. Oh, there is no basic island. The only basic in this deck is a plains. That is something weird I noticed on the deck list. So I guess I'm fetching Volcanic Island and casting Ponder. If they have Wasteland, they get to take me off red for a minute. But I think the Swords to Plowshares is going to be pretty important. True-Name Nemesis is like the best thing you can do in a Death and Taxes fair matchup. But if they have Wasteland or Rishadenport, I'm wrecked here. And this Aether Vial sneaking in under my other stuff. Alright, I am not going to shuffle. I'm going to risk it for the biscuit. I'm keeping the Force of Will because pitching Standstill is a slam dunk here. They have Aether Vial. I'm not going to play Standstill. And then I can Force of Will just literally anything they put on the stack. And if they don't put anything on the stack, that's fine. So do I want to use this mana to Brainstorm? It sees one fresh card, or I could just let it happen and draw. I think I'm going to let it happen and draw. So the Tundra here lets me Swords to Plowshares and Mother of Runes in the end step. But they didn't have it. Okay. So they can Violent Thalia, which has protection from Swords to Plowshares because I don't have 2 mana up. Alright, well, I'm not giving you 2 of those. And they don't seem to have a 2-drop. Or if they do, it's not Thalia. So that's what I should be... That's the message I should be taking out of this. You want to take me off Rag or Plow? Alright, they chose Plow, but I'm going to Brainstorm with this mana. And so I get to cast Rag, hold up Plow. Or I can waste their Rishadenport. Though I think that at this point, Stoneforge Mystic is a likely thing for them to have. So I'm going to... This is actually a tough Brainstorm. Or I'm in my upkeep, so I'm going to draw one of these. So I only have to actually put one of these back. I think I'm going to tuck the Wasteland away. And then I draw for turn, cast Rag, and leave up Plow. Alright, here we go. Wasteland's on top of my deck. Swords to Plowshares are in my hand. I have a path to just mash in there with Ragavan multiple turns in a row with this string of plows. Yep, Stoneforge Mystic. That was the read, and it's what they had. Let's see if I have to plow right now. It looks like I do. So I do have to plow right away. I can plow the Cauldron Germ, but I think that clearing the Stoneforge Mystic so it doesn't come into play in the first place is probably better. They kept their Vial on 2. Oh, Caracas. Rag is a legend. Oh, it also gets plowed. Okay, that's actually fine. Good deal. I am glad they used the Swords to Plowshares when Caracas already had this thing under control. So I'm going to Brainstorm looking for the 3rd land here, because this True-Name Nemesis, I think, will shut the game down. But no love. Okay, so I want to draw Retrofitter Foundry. So I want to put that into play. That's a way to use my mana under Rishadenport. They have 3 cards left over there. One of them is likely another... Okay, wow. They left Vial on 2 and then didn't put a 2-drop in. So their hand is Cauldra and some number of blanks, it seems. Just playing and cracking Silent Clearing immediately. Makes a lot of sense based on what we know about their hand. I know I'm drawing another Plow right now. So when they go to port me, I'll just make a servo. Alright, servo. Draw Swords to Plowshares. And we're going to be dancing around me drawing another land before they draw a Wasteland. Vial still on 2. Stubbornly on 2. They drew Wasteland. Now I'm in some trouble. But I do have servos serving up. So I could turn... Oh, they didn't port me. Oh, they let me draw first. That's weird. Now I know if I need to leave up mana or not. So I think I want to... I can turn the servo into a flyer. Or I could just make another servo. That sounds fine. Make a 1/1. So they haven't had a 2-drop to violin on the last several turns. I'm going to take my risk here. It's possible they just eat this thing, but I know they're top decking, and one of the cards they drew between Silent Clearing and their draw step was Wasteland. Also, there's 22 lands in this deck, just saying, which is way more than most Legacy decks. They have 2 ports now. Cool. Good thing I can use them. This Retrofitter Foundry, just busting the Rishadan port symmetry wide open. Alright, just make a servo. They can go into my draw step and make me lose that 1 mana. So I'm just not going to give them that chance. Here they come. Did you find a 2-drop? I will get blown out the second they find a 2-drop, I promise. Because I'm not going to play around it. This vial's still on 2. I have lots of counter spells. So if they're 1 mana away from trying to cast... Right, I'm not going to fight over a second vial because they're not even using the one they have. They're 1 turn away from casting Kaldra. And God, I hope they do it. Alright, here's this dance again. Take a servo. Retrofitter Foundry. Unbeatable magic card. Someday I would like to draw one of my 22 lands. But I'll just keep beating down in the meantime. And I have 7 cards in hand, so don't have to discard yet. Give me a turn though. I'll get there. Alright, let's see what they do with these vials. Is this one still going to stay on 2 for the rest of its life? Yep. Still on 2. Please land Kaldra. Land Kaldra. There's the land. Jam Kaldra. Umezawa's Jitte. I can't actually beat that ever. Like, if they ever put anything on that, like if they ever get a creature into play to carry that thing, I lose on the spot. So, no thanks. That can catch up with a Retrofitter Foundry very quickly. Make another servo. Keep it going. Land, maybe? Ooh. I drew a land. Not only is it a land, but it's a wasteland. That can take out one of the ports permanently. Though I think I would rather just have the mana. Probably should have cast Soul Guide Lantern before combat, in case they decided to port me. But I am going to cast the Soul Guide Lantern. This can cycle from play, so it does have value. It lets me use Rishadan port mana to do something instead of nothing. But Retrofitter Foundry's already done a good job with that. You all know what I mean. So they have Kaldra and 1 mystery card that we know is not helpful right now. And they just tested my hand for counterspells last turn, so maybe they'll jam the Kaldra this time. They're playing around Daze. Jam Kaldra. Jam it. Jam it. What I don't want to happen is them to Violent Sanctum Prelate name 5 and then jam Kaldra. But even then, I still have Swords to Plowshares, so I can just mop up the board. Maybe I just don't force Kaldra, actually. Like, do I just let them gain 5 life? Yeah, I think having True-Name Nemesis in play is going to be worth more than not. I can take 5 a couple times. Yeah, whatever. Let's go. That taps them out of their mana control for a turn. And are they even on the attack? Okay. I think they're losing this damage race. Just heads up. They don't even know about Swords to Plowshares. Land. Let me do all the things. Shit. Alright, so I'm going to attack my opponent's life points directly with my 5 servos. In they come. Here at 6. And I'm going to take this opportunity to cast True-Name Nemesis. And I'm going to make them my Nemesis. And True-Name can safely absorb 1 of the trample damage from Kaldra. And I might not even have to plow this thing, I might just race it. Sword of Fire and Ice. Alright, yeah, that was about the best card they could have. So they get to attack for 9 right now, and kill one of my servos and draw a card. But they're still dead on board. Like, they do need to come up with something else here. Yeah, we are not dead. Swords to Plowshares, sure. You're still dead. That's still 6. Alright, so I'm not gonna plow. Okay, alright, fine. I'll just play this slow and safe. I am going to plow the germ in case they have a second creature. I'm just trying to think of the nightmare scenario of, like, they vial in, like, Thalia, blow me out in combat, and then they just sort of Fire and Ice just goes to town on the rest of me. So I might have just given them a bunch of turns to draw outs here, or I might have saved myself. We'll find out soon. Alright, they did have something. Ha! Ha ha ha! That's exactly the card that was going to blow me out. And get rid of it. Right now, while the Caracas is tapped, played around it, got paid for my patience, and I will pass the turn. They are currently empty, but any creature they cast can pick up Sword or Cauldra right away. Yeah, if they just have a 2-power creature, I lose. Okay, they played Wasteland. I'm going to draw a card off of Soul Guide Lantern. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this Cauldra, any 2-power creature kills me. So I need to leave back some amount of blocking. Oh, this is rough. And they get to use their ports all the time. So I'm going to make a servo. I do understand that they get to port me in my draw step 2. Oh, they didn't want to. Alright, not interested. Okay, so what attack can I make where I'm not dead to any 2-power creature? So if I attack with my 3 servos, they vial in a 2-power creature, attack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they can't equip Cauldra and Sword. So if I leave back 2 servos, that will absorb 2 combat damage. And I can still have them on a 2-turn clock. Just attack for 5 twice. In this way, I don't lose to... I lose to Flicker Wisp. I think that's the only creature in their deck that I lose to. Alright, gotta fade this draw step. Yeah, like, I can absorb an attack from Spirit of the Labyrinth. Yeah, here we go. No Flicker Wisp. Alright, they had the land. They're dead. That was a tight one. Retrofitter Foundry. Coast to coast. True-Name Nemesis. Beating up Death and Taxes like it's, I don't know, 2013? When did this card get printed? Alright, Engineered Explosives. Pithing Needle. Pithing Needle's a great one to tutor up off of Saga. Stifle is extremely powerful against Death and Taxes. Standstill is not. Unless I can turn off their Aether Vials, which I can. I have 2... Alright, so Daze is kind of bad on the draw. I do like some number of Force of Wills. And I will have 3 Prismatic Endings and 2 Pithing Needles in the deck post-board here. So that's a lot of answers to Aether Vial, which makes Standstill pretty good. But if I'm behind on board, which is pretty likely, honestly, Soul Guide Lantern also doesn't do anything. So, alright, Null Rod's coming in. Little awkward to bring in Engineered Explosives and Null Rod at the same time. Grim Lavamancer's great. Pyroclasm's great. Wow, this deck is full of good cards. Do I need explosives if I'm doing all this other stuff? I don't need all 4 Force of Wills. I do like having some number of them left. Probably don't need all the Stifles either because I'm not hitting their lands, but a lot of their abilities like Stoneforge Mystic, Flicker Wisp, etc. Their deck is based on ETB triggers. But I don't want to be too reactive. I do need to pressure them. This looks pretty good though. This deck is nice. Grim Lavamancer. I haven't played with this one in a long time. Do I want the 3rd Stifle over the 3rd Force of Will? And I think that I do. Yeah, let's just play to the board. I'm going in. No lands. 22 of them in the deck, by the way, in case you forgot. Okay. This hand's a disaster. I guess it does have the... I'm going to send Murktide Regent to the... I'm going to keep this, though it is kind of a mess. Though it does have the possibility of Swords to Plowshares, Jam Standstill. Alright, not anymore. It no longer has that possibility. Just look for a normal land here. Alright, Wasteland is alright. I guess I play Caracas, because that does cast Plow. It gets wasted, which sucks, but it does cast Swords to Plowshares. It also bounces Thalia. Alright, Rishadan Port, it's all good. They can sneak a Mother of Runes in here. That's kind of lame. They're kind of unfortunate. Okay, they're not going to sneak a Mother of Runes in on me. I have the Tundra. Here she comes. The Mother. I'm going to clear this out now. I could wait for an Engineered Explosives. I could tutor up Pithing Needle eventually, but I think that just getting that answered is worth doing. Alright, no plays out of the vial. So they're going to port probably Tundra this turn. And then I play Urza Saga. And just get to work. Alright, let's start constructing things. They didn't violin on 2, which means they either don't have a 2-drop or it's Thalia that I can just bounce. Flicker Wisp can set my Urza Saga back around. Sanctum Prelate, okay. Number is 1. Wasn't doing that anyway. So if they port my Saga so I can't make constructs, then I get True-Name Nemesis, and vice versa. Deal. Alright, Saga goes up. True-Name Nemesis comes in. My Nemesis is Death and Taxes. The next turn I get to make a construct, tutor up a Pithing Needle for Aether Vial, and then Wasteland their Rishadan Port, and then I feel like I'm a mile ahead. Might even be able to cast Standstill, depending on what land they port. Council's Judgment. Ooh, alright. They were ready this time. My one of. It's gone. Okay, so cool stuff's about to happen. I draw for turn. Urza Saga triggers. I make a construct, which is currently a 1/1. If this resolves, then they can't vial in response, so I'm going to get Pithing Needle and name Aether Vial. No more activations of Aether Vial are allowed. I'm going to play Urza Saga, and then I'm going to play Standstill. Because I have a 2/2 that can trade with their 2/2, and in the meantime, my 2/2 will get bigger. Like as soon as I get another turn, I will start having more artifacts. So it is on them to break this Standstill, or just die to Saga. Even if they have Wasteland right now to pick off the Saga, it's just a waiting game until I find another Saga. Oh, they're just going in, popping it. They know they can't get there any other way. Okay, so that did resolve. Didn't have the mana for my Stifle, which I can't cast anyway. They're looking for Batterskull, which gives me a turn of development on my Saga. So Wasteland, I want to take them off this Rishadan Port. I'm just really sick of playing against that card. Get it out. And I don't have 3 different colors to Engineered Explosives, anything I really need to right now. So I'm just going to pass the turn. I guess I can attack pretty freely here. They double block, I can just take out whatever. Yeah, here we go. You got nothing. Alright, before blocks, or before damage, I'll get my extra point in there. Can't cast 1 mana spells anyway. Guess maybe I'm supposed to leave up Caracas in case they have Thalia or Mangara, heaven forbid. So they had the Cauldra already. So there's a racing situation here, but I think I'm winning this race. This Germ token is not a legend. And then we go to my turn, draw for turn, get a look at Polluted Delta that casts Ragavan, that's cool. Create. That's a 4/4. Retrofitter Foundry makes it a 5/5. Do I want Foundry or do I want a Needlestone Forge Mystic? I think I want Foundry. Alright, so we got 5/5s. Then I can play Ragavan. Next turn I can clear out Sanctum Prelate. I'm just going to attack for 10 here. They are really truly not winning this race. Batterskull can mess it up, but in general, doing pretty alright here. I find my red, make a servo, take 12. They're at 6. I have 3 lethal creatures in play. If they have Umezawa's Jitte and a land to equip it, they can do some cool stuff here. Flicker Wisp can remove a construct. Council's Judgment, sure. What do you even name? Retrofitter Boundary, sure. Alright, yeah, they're voting for the thing that continues to grow my constructs. Pretty sure they can't attack with Kaldra. Yep. Nailed it. So a land gets rid of the Sanctum Prelate. Looks like I'm going to have to wait a turn on that. What happens if I just attack with everything? So they can't activate Stoneforge Mystic right now to put in their Batter Skull. They can't activate Air the Vial. Everything is face up on board. If I dash Ragavan, they have to block a construct with Kaldra. They actually just, all of the constructs are force blocks. Actually, this has first strike, so we can exile this construct before damage. Alright, yeah, we still have just good attacks right across the middle here. So dash Ragavan. Then attack with all of my permanents. Oh, right. They have that. So I can play Engineered Explosives on 0. And Sanctum Prelate's going to die this turn anyway. Yeah, actually I like that. Okay, so I'm going to just play this on 0 to make all of these creatures lethal. So they have to just block. Actually, it makes all of them lethal with the servo. So they're going to have to block with Stoneforge Mystic and Sanctum Prelate, which unlocks my cantrips. Alright, here we go. Has to block. Has to block. Has to block. Okay, they're going to 1 and leaving Prelate in play. It's a reasonable thing to do. And they lose Stoneforge, which means they can't Batter Skull. That's worth a lot to me. And they know I can dash Ragavan. So we need to fade Umezawa's Jitte again. And that's the card that I lose to here. And their only card in hand is Batter Skull, which they can hard cast. Shit. That actually sucks. That land was a great draw for them. They still can't attack, though. Maybe they can? Oh no, because Engineered Explosives, if it destroys Germ, also destroys constructs. Yeah, okay. No attack. Here's this. Alright, I may have gotten a little spewy on that Engineered Explosives, just forgot about Caracas. Yeah, that was actually really, really bad. Right, so next turn they can move Batter Skull onto the Germ token. And then I'm in trouble. Yeah, I messed up that turn where I used my Engineered Explosives to represent fake lethal. And now they're at 1. Getting the Batter Skull into play was a huge deal. Or else Sanctum Prelate would have died this turn. But obviously it coulda, woulda, shoulda. Who knows? What can I even draw here? I think it has to be exactly... the Prismatic Ending gets rid of Sanctum Prelate, which lets me plow Kaldra, and then we're good. They're attacking with Batter Skull. I'm gonna block with a Construct, because I can't just let them cheese in there over and over again. They can just move the Batter Skull around, and that's fine. But I'm not punching through this board anyway. Now we have to pivot onto the control plan. Moving it on to Prelate. Sure, that's the card I want to remove if I can anyway. Alright, come on. Prismatic Ending. Fucking Stifles. Wiping me out over here. Alright. We are locked out of this game by Prelate. I bounce my rag. I'll just discard it. It's not helping me. Yeah, I think I could have played a little slower the turn I put my foot on the gas. This Engineered Explosives would have won the game, for sure, if I just was more patient with my use of it. Right, I'm going to chump the 6-power Lifelinker, because Prismatic Ending is still my draw, but now they can port my Volcanic Island, so I don't even really... It's not even an out. I won't have 3 colors of mana when it's time for it to matter. Null Rod, yep, too little too late. Alright, I messed that game up. I thought I had more than I did. Like I didn't see the line of go to 1 and keep Sanctum Prelate in play. I thought that attack was going to unlock my things. I just Didn't count well enough. Okay. Let's do better. Tighten up. So Containment Priest is another check on Aether Vial, if that's something I think is important. I could bring in a Force of Will to make sure that the Sanctum Prelate kind of stuff doesn't happen. I could also get lower on Murktide Regent, though I think that card's probably really good. So they have the Swords to Plowshares, which line up well against Murktide Regent, and I think that constructs are how I'm going to win most games that I win. Or do I want Force of Will in the deck or Containment Priest? I think that this, I don't know, this giant flying idiot is worth a lot to me. I think I'm just going to go back in with the same deck. Yeah, let's go. This hand is not remotely keepable. This one's really good. Alright, keep this. I'm going to keep this and send Wasteland to the bottom. It's awkward that there's no basic mountain or basic island in the deck. So I can cast Ponder, or I can just not do that. But I think I want to do that. I'll just get the Tundra. Wasteland's going to get me when it gets me. So, let's go. Pithing Needle, Wasteland, Tundra. That seems like way too slow. I want to find some threats and start challenging the board. Like, I do want to make them react to me at least a little bit. I don't want to be just a pure control deck over here. Cavern of Souls. Oh, can't daze whatever this is. Oh, could have dazed it. Didn't matter. Yeah, I have a bunch of prismatic endings for that card. Alright, deck. I'm good on these. Just whenever you're done giving them to me would be great. So, ending the Aether Vial. I have ending for the next thing, but I need a Brainstorm to fix this hand pretty quickly. Another Vial, okay. I might leave that one alone for a couple turns. Alright, I'll leave it alone forever. Needle on Aether Vial. Okay, freeze that out. Alright, still looking for a Brainstorm here. So Caracas can bounce a Thalia. Prismatic Ending can remove most things from play, including Mother of Runes if necessary. Okay, they missed a land drop here. That's pretty exciting. Come on, Brainstorm. Alright, Ponder, I'll take. It's not Brainstorm, but it's good. Standstill, hell yeah. Alright. Can I do everything? Kinda. Alright, so I lose my Brainstorm, but I get my Standstill. Yeah, that's worth it. I would do a lot of things to get a Standstill. Give up a lot of value. Alright, so I'm gonna get 2 Volcanic Islands. A Prismatic Ending this Mother of Runes. And then I'm gonna cast Standstill. And then they're gonna have to bust it, because eventually I will draw Urza Saga. Multiple Pithing Needles and 4 ways to tutor them against the Vial deck is pretty nice. Normally, when I'm playing Sharkstill, I just have to board out most of my Standstills versus decks like this. And I'm glad I just don't have to do that here. Looks like they're ready to just pop this Mamajamma, which is good for me. Like, I agree, I don't think they have another plan. There's the 3rd ending. Yeah, the Stifle now instead of when I have mana up is rough, but there's Cauldra. I can exile the Germ token off of Cauldra. Living Weapon. Is Living Weapon a trigger? Equipped creature, it just has Living Weapon. I'm pretty sure it is a trigger. Like, does it arrive with a Germ on it, or does it come into play trigger? I don't know. We'll see in a second here. But I'm gonna Brainstorm first. Get this party started. Ram Lavamancer. Yes, yes, yes. I actually might not even need the Stifle. I don't need the Prismatic Ending right now. This is actually a lot of plows too, so I'm gonna tuck Prismatic Ending on top of the deck with Plow under it. I can make decisions about whether I need those sort of things shortly here. Swords to Plowshares, this, then Grim Lavamancer, and I can stifle things if I need to stifle things. Screw beats Flood, so let's hope they can't remove my Aether Vial or start hitting land drops here. But Grim Lavamancer is one of those things where it's like, if you can't answer this, you lose. Ah, that's alright. Top of my deck is more removal. So Revoker names Lavamancer just to keep them alive another turn. They don't know about the Swords to Plowshares on top of my deck that I do. I don't think I need another Needle, at least not anytime soon, so I am going to get a shuffle here. I'm actually not going to destroy this thing right away. I'm just going to fetch another Tundra and pass the turn. Like, if they make plays, assuming that Lavamancer isn't going to be able to get activated, and then I can plow the Revoker and kill something, that's a good deal. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So now I can kill two things if I want to. I could also just bounce Thalia and ignore it for a few turns. Yeah, I'm just gonna take that easy little loop. Easy redraw. Now we're going. Okay, yep, that's what I was looking for. That's the buster. Bust this game open. I'm really impressed with this deck. I really enjoy these play patterns. Alright, Thalia resolves again. You got me. Should probably be attacking with Revoker, but what do I know? Bounce Thalia with Karakas again. Let's just keep playing these same turns over and over again, but now you're going to discard and I'm making constructs. Nice. Alright, pass the turn again. I can start going to Construct Town. Stoneforge Mystic. Resolves. Yeah, this is what I've been waiting for. I'm not even going to stifle this. I'm going to do the Swords to Plowshares and Lavamancer thing in this end step. So, make a construct. Swords to Plowshares, Revoker. At it the whole time. Lavamancer, the Stoneforge Mystic. I would not be surprised to see a concession pretty soon here. Or maybe they'll want to scrap it out. It's their call. Draw for turn. Make a construct. Tutor up the Retrofitter Foundry. Because that just makes the construct so big so fast. Make another thing. I'm just gonna present damage and get this game over with at this point. I left red up. I can Lavamancer them in the end step, just pushing damage. The Cauldra and Batterskull in their hand are looking pretty ugly right now. Just passing the turn, not even playing a creature. Push the damage. Discarded the Cauldra. Shameful. Alright, make a servo. 6, 12, 13, 14, 15. Alright, if I can ponder into... Oh, I'm holding Lightning Bolt. Stop it. Alright, I was like, if I ponder into another artifact, I have lethal, but I'm holding Lightning Bolt. So I have lethal. Here you go, and here's a taste. It's technically better to pass the turn, make them do something else, and then Lightning Bolt them, because they have to beat the board, and you have them beat in hand, and by showing them that you have them beat in hand, it might affect decisions, and they find a way to wiggle out, but I'm just trying to save some time and end this match, so GG's, that was awesome. This deck rules. On the play with an unfortunate one here, Rag, Daze, Stifle, but no red mana. I'm going to keep this though. The Stifle Daze on the play is pretty exciting, and I can lead on Tundra and pass. I don't think people are going to play around Stifle out of a Tundra deck unless they're just super on the level of this Rag deck being in the format. So even if they go for Wasteland, I could Stifle Wasteland and they're still down a land. And alright, that's not... Oh, Mother of Runes. Do I want... No, I can Stifle a Mother of Runes activation, and I think I want to be able to ponder into Ragavan this turn. Ooh, or I could ponder Wasteland. Alright, ponder. Oh, jeez. These rags. I don't need more of the same. I need some different stuff. Force of Will. Not what I was looking for here. I can hit them with a Wasteland, though. I think that's worth doing. This is probably Maverick. They could waste me back. They played around Stifle really well, but I have Daze here. If they have something I need to Daze. I still think I can do better on Daze. Like, having wasted them, set them back a little bit. Alright, now we have a plan. Something resembling a plan. Murktide Regent, backed up by Force of Will, is the plan here. I can Stifle a Wasteland on my Tundra, if I need to. I can hard cast Daze on a Knight of the Reliquary. Maybe someday I'll draw red mana. Scavenging Ooze. I'm just going to hard cast Daze on that. They've already made their land drop for the turn. I don't need to worry about anything else happening here. Still have Force of Will for the next thing. Ooh, Prismatic Ending. Not what I'm looking for here. A little slow to answer the Mother of Runes. Though I actually can Prismatic Ending Mom and then stifle the Mom trigger. And then Mom's gone. But then I have to pitch Murktide Regent. Yeah, I think I can do better with these cards. Yeah, this has been another awkward situation of 22 lands in the deck. It's mana screwed. Yeah, this is getting countered. I am gonna pitch the Stifle. Yeah, Murktide Regent is my best plan to win this game by a lot. So let's just draw a land right now that can cast Murktide Regent. Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna jam Murktide Regent. If they plow, they plow, but that leaves the coast clear for Rags. Rag to Riches here. Oh, wait. I have another thing I can do here, which is Prismatic Ending Mother of Runes. They tap it, then I dash Ragavan. I actually think I want to do that right now while this coast is clear. Like, their Karakas is tapped right now, so I'm gonna take it. And then them seeing Rag might encourage them to leave up Karakas for a while. Or it might encourage them to just wasteland me. I don't know. We'll see. But if I can get my own Mother of Runes or Noble Hierarch or something, that would be pretty cool. This is not the first time I've connected with a Rag. Wow! That was pretty good. So I'm gonna plow the Noble Hierarch. I can't get the Mom because it gave itself pro white. If the removal spell that was in my hand was just like randomly Lightning Bolt instead of plow, but then I can't dash Ragavan, so never mind. It's all good. Distraction from blue, huh? Oh, Murktide Regent. You poor devil. Sort of Feast and Famine. Okay. That can do some damage. Alright, well, drawing this was pretty good, because now I get to play Murktide Regent and deploy Ragavan. Not that deploying Ragavan is super important on this board, but it's fine. Right, Murktide Regent as a 7/7, Ragavan as a 2/1. So they can put sort of Feast and Famine on Scrib Ranger and just start chewing me up. This Karakas, so good. Ragavan sucks. It's a legend. That's actually hurting me twice here. Like, once because my opponent has Karakas to check it, and again because I can't play the second copy in my hand. Oh, they had Swords to Plowshares too? Alright. And I discard my Ragavan. Bummer. The Scrib Ranger can't untap itself right now because it has protection from green. Not that that's going to matter at this point. I think our window to win this game is past. Yeah, alright. I'm going to pack it up. Yeah, they played around the early Stifle. I couldn't produce an early Rag. The Mother of Runes just controlled my removal. That was just a classic Maverick game. Now we get to sideboard in all the same cards we did last round. Though I think Grafdigger's Cage comes to because of Green Sun Zenith. Pithing Needle is good. Pyroclasm's good. Grim Lavamancer's good. Prismatic Ending is good. Containment Priest. Alright, so the boarding's a little different. Containment Priest hits Green Sun Zenith, which is a good one to knock out of their deck. Their whole deck is based on Green Sun Zenith. And Null Rod, I think, is worth it because their equipment are very good. So what is not as good? And I'm on the play where Daze is better than average, but I still think it's not as good as I need it to be. I think Force of Will and Murktide Regent, like if they bring in like Rest in Peace, I guess they can't play Rest in Peace because they're a night deck, but they do have Swords to Plowshares in their deck, and they've shown me Scrib Ranger. Those are two super clean answers to that card. Soulguide Lantern does matter because they have knights. I think I can go a little slimmer on Rag. I'm just cutting threats all over the place here. I'm not going to be able to win this game. Maybe one of the Stifles can go. I do like Stifle, and it is good against a deck like this that's full of activated and triggered abilities, but like we saw that game, if they play around it even a little bit, it starts to become pretty bad pretty quickly. I am counting on the construct tokens to win this game, though. Make no mistake, that is what I'm going for. Alright, my forces brainstorm I think this hand is probably bad, though Engineered Explosives is one of the better cards. Plays out Mother of Runes. Do I play it on curve or do I leave up Brainstorm? Do I even keep this hand? I am going to keep this hand, I've decided. And I'm just going to play Engineered Explosives on one. Or maybe I wait. Yeah, I think I'm just going to hold off on that. Like, if I wait and let them deploy, like, Mother of Runes and Noble Hierarchs and stuff, then I could get them on turn 3 rather than trying to curve it on starting turn 1. Alright, they're just not playing any 1-drops instead. A fair plan. Do I Brainstorm now? Yeah, probably. Uh-oh. What is this? Are they Red Maverick with Red Blast? Or they're just playing around Stifle. Okay. That makes sense. That's smart. Good play. Alright, Murktide Regent. Is that a later thing? Or is it a work towards it starting now thing? I guess if the Grim Lavamancer challenges their... Alright, with the Swords of Plowshares and Grim Lavamancer, I'm going to get rid of the Engineered Explosives. And I don't think I can get rid of a land. Maybe I don't need 2 forces. I do understand that my Force of Wills right now, my force has to pitch... Oh, bummer. I also have to get red. But yeah, if my Force of Will gets cast right now, it has to pitch Murktide Regent, which I said was my plan. But I think it's okay. I think if this Grim Lavamancer sticks around for a couple minutes, we're going to be doing okay. Also, because Prismatic Ending is busted, I can exile a choke. Don't even need to force a choke in this position. They have something. Once Upon a Time. For free. It is their first spell of the game. Found a Mother of Runes. Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, I can plow or Lavamancer that. Sort of Fire and Ice, sure. That probably means I want to Lavamancer this. Yeah. I'll just remove this right now. Lavamancer does pressure Murktide Regent in a way that I don't love. It's just good deck building. Burden Catacombs gets cracked. Knight of the Reliquary. I have multiple answers to that card. I'm going to use the cheap one right now. Pithing Needle. So I can save that for Mother of Runes or Sword of Fire and Ice as needed. Alright, let's go. Another fetch land. The time for Questing Beast. Am I getting beasted? Another Knight. I have another answer for that. The choke is starting to get a little scary, but I'll make it work. I'm gonna fetch basic planes here. No, I can't do that. That doesn't cast what I need to. I'm gonna get the Tundra. So blue, white, red, Prismatic Ending, target this, get it out, and I think I leave up Lavamancer in case there's any tricks they got over there. Alright, so they had the choke the whole time. I have to force that now. I used my Prismatic Ending. If they have Veil of Summer, I probably lose. Alright. Didn't have Veil. So they have Mom's Sword and 2 mystery cards in their hand. Alright. There'll be 1 fewer mystery card starting now. Scavenging Ooze, okay. Mom's Sword, Scavenging Ooze, and a mystery card. I'm gonna save this in my hand for a future Wasteland. I think I just Needle Scavenging Ooze. Though there are 0 creatures in graveyards right now. So I can eat it. I could Needle... I don't think I want to Needle anything. I'm just gonna pass again. And now that I've pitched the only Murktide Regent that's in my deck, the Lavamancer can just go nutty. Ooh. This might have been a good time to Needle Wasteland, but I actually don't think that matters. If they have Choke on the other side of this, that could be rough, or they could just be taking me off white. And they should have wasted me in combat. Now I have white floating. Luckily, I don't have the plow anyway. But okay, so let me just... Oh, there's a Stoneforge Mystic in the graveyard. Shit. I looked and was like, there are no creatures in the graveyard. It doesn't matter, but there actually is one. But still fine. Oh, please go. Oh, I guess they can go again in response. So that's fine. It's big. I have to find a different answer to that now. Like that one. Is there a Tundra left in the deck? There is one Tundra left and the basic plains. So there are only 4 white sources in this whole deck. Or 5 total, I guess. The shit is this? Just exiling my prismatic ending for fun? Yeah, fine. That's not what I'm going for here. Get Tundra. Prismatic ending this thing. This is a pretty good control deck when it needs to be. And I guess I will run out this land. Maybe I'm still not supposed to run out the land. Just trying to determine how that matters, if it matters. What matters about it. Yeah, just getting the sword into play makes sense if you don't have other plays. Or just starting to overload my Lavamancer. Wow, Grim Lavamancer's messed up. I haven't played with this card in a long time, and it's a former Legacy staple for a reason. Alright, I'm still not going to Needle. I don't think I need to. There could still be something scarier coming. Like, they need to have a creature in play before they can equip sword to it, and that seems unlikely to occur, given the Lavamancer. Yep, so another one's down. Another one bites the dust. Their hand is Mother of Runes right now, which I have 3 answers to. Alright, there we go. Now we have a win condition. Let's party. Who is Zenith? Big ol' Zenith. Do they have like Reclamation Sage to take out Saga? Or they have Ramen Excavator to wasteland it? Okay, that was really good. Bummer. This thing's actually going to be hard to beat also. Just on stats, it is a 2/3. Okay. So my choices here are Needle Wasteland and die slowly, and die to the Sword of Fire and Ice. Needle Sword of Fire and Ice. Or, okay, I think I know what I need to do. I need to Engineered Explosives on 3, and then also Needle Wasteland. And then I can play True-Name Nemesis. And then I have to beat this Mother of Runes with 3 mana in play. Alright, so red, white, green. X is 3. Do I Needle Wasteland and lose a mana? Or do I Needle? I think I Needle the sword. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna Needle Sword of Fire and Ice. I would rather get wasted one more time on the way out than lose my Grim Lavamancer and let them draw an extra card on the way out. There's the Wasteland. You want to take me off double red or double white? It took me off red. Might as well attack for 2. Then we've got Ponder. Finds Lightning Bolt and another Ponder and a Stifle. I'm not going to shuffle my library. Those cards are all really good. And I am just going to bust explosives now. Don't want to get them a land drop. I'm going to attack here, which could expose me to Scrib Ranger, but go ahead, have it. Gaia's Cradle with no creatures in play. It's good stuff. And I think it's time for True-Name Nemesis. That's just a real clock now. Probably should have attacked first in case I need to bolt the Scrib Ranger. Alright, we're in there now. Really clocking. Putting up 5 a turn. Mother of Runes, Dried Arbor. And Scavenging Ooze. Alright, Ooze has some food now. Alright, they're going after cards in my graveyard that aren't creatures, and that's cool with me. It's controlling that's certainly one way to control Grim Lavamancer. Alright, they're tapped all the way out right now. If I can find a second red source off this Ponder, I can kill... Alright, cool. Let me just make sure there are 3 Volks in the deck. There are exactly 3 Volks in the deck. Alright, do not shuffle. Fetch. Alright, exactly. Lightning Bolt. They're 3/3. Lavamancer. They're 1/1. And I'm still holding up Stifle, which works against a lot of their better cards. This has been kind of crazy back and forth stressful stuff. Been impressed by what they've been able to muster so far. I've also not played perfectly, it's safe to say. Alright, I'm going to attack for 3 and just hold up Grim Lavamancer. So I guess I do want to Brainstorm now, because Stifle isn't that good of a card, and if I find Urza Saga, I want to get a chunk in. Alright, so Basic Plains and Swords to Plowshares, or Basic Plains and Stifle can go away, and then I'm going to Ponder and Shuffle. Ooh, Soul Guide Lantern's not bad though. Yeah, yes it is. Shuffle the library. Okay, in we go. Now I can answer 2 things. Swords to Plowshares, huh? Alright. I'm going to take out Noble Hierarch on the way through. That one represents a lot of the fastest clock. And they both tap for green. One of them represents more damage on board though. Pyroclasm's hot. I can Pyroclasm, or I can't Pyroclasm because True-Name doesn't have protection from me. So that's kind of an awkward deck building choice. So I kind of need the Swords to Plowshares to hold the fort for a little while. Alright, cool. They drew a land. Keep drawing lands. Right. Lots of plows now, so it's True-Name Nemesis versus the world. If I had found a blue card to pitch to this force, I'd feel pretty good. But I didn't, so here we are. Oh, baby. Yeah, that's one I'm glad I have plows for. I'm just going to hit it now. They're hellbent. There's no reason to trick them into sinking mana into this thing. And here comes the Dried Arbor. Get your point. Alright, continue drawing plows. Race is on. They have 2 turns left here. Every time I plow gives them another turn, though. Alright, I'm still winning this race. I'm not going to Swords to Plowshares anything that doesn't kill me, because I have them dead in 1 draw step. Okay, great. I don't know if that actually fetches any more lands. Maybe that's not great. I was excited because I could hardcast Force, but I think that the Basic Plains is the only fetchable land left in the deck. So there's 1 Bulk, 1 Tundra. Yeah, all of the fetchable lands are accounted for. So I can't hardcast this Force, but I can represent it like I can. Yep, confirmed. Alright, gotta fade this draw step. They don't have many game winners. Like, other than something that removes True-Name Nemesis. Alright, yeah, they're just conceding. Even Questing Beast just puts me to 1 here. So, yeah, alright. Ooh, that was tight. Alright, so Murktide Regent would have been pretty good most of the time in that game. Just, Grim Lavamancer carrying the day there. Ragavan, still fine. Grafdigger's Cage. Do I want that in with the Containment Priest? In the... Yeah, maybe I don't need Cage and Priest. Being able to tutor it with Saga is nice, but they have so many Wastelands that maybe that's not really the play. Though it is really good against... Like, blanking 4 copies of their best card is really good. Alright, they've been playing around Stifle like a boss, so I'm gonna leave in the Cage and go down to 1 Stifle. This hand is good. I'm keeping it. Just so many red cards. Got a Windswept Heath. Basic pass. I like when they do that. I'm just gonna pass here. I'm playing around Wasteland. I can get my Basic Plains, the 1 basic land in the deck, if they put a creature into play here. Though I don't really want to, because my grip's full of red cards, as I previously mentioned. Mother. So I think I'm gonna Brainstorm and then Lightning Bolt. So Brainstorm, get this hand fixed up. Don't think I want this Wasteland, and do I need Engineered Explosives when my hand does so many other things? No, I don't think Engineered Explosives and Pyroclasm need to be in the same hand together. Oh, I did just jam straight into Choke though. Shit. Uh-oh. Well, I did not play around Choke here. If they have it, they have it. And I'll just have to work through it. I do have other lands to play. Okay, they didn't choke me. Dodged the worst of it there. I smell a 2-for-1 off of Pyroclasm here. Oh, they didn't go for it. Fine, fine, fine. You wuss. Alright, Urza Saga. Let's go. Let's just get to work here. Just sniff out a Wasteland. In the way my hand is configured right now, I'd be okay with Wasteland being pointed at Urza Saga. I don't want to use a 1-for-1 removal spell on Scrib Ranger because I have hopes of this Pyroclasm wrecking shit sooner than later. Alright, do they respect Saga? They do, okay. That's fine. So I'm gonna plow the Knight. Take my 1 from Scribby. Let's take that out. I'm gonna be doing things at kind of weird timing because my clock is a concern right now. Alright, so they have Pro Blue, but that doesn't actually help them here. So I'm gonna ponder. Prismatic Ending, Brainstorm. Those are all good cards. Do not shuffle the library. Fetch. I'm gonna get another white. And then Murktide. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, 7/7 Murktide Regent. Let's go. Alright, they had the plow. It's still a gain 7. Yeah, choke was the only thing I was really worried about there. There was one creature in the graveyard to eat with Scavenging Ooze. So I can Brainstorm and still Prismatic Ending if I still need to. Alright, I don't need to. So I'm gonna put back Retrofitter Foundry and Prismatic Ending and play Tundra, Swords to Plowshares. I guess I can't dash Rag because they would just trade. Do I accept a trade here? I don't think so. Yeah, I think I just play Rag. I can remove this Scrib Ranger with Prismatic Ending next turn. Alright, Plow's fine. Okay. We have officially maneuvered this game into Pyroclasm Blowout territory. And I'm going to do that. Zoop. And then I'm going to Brainstorm next turn, try to get some fresh looks. Sylvan Library, that's a good card. But Prismatic Ending is a clean answer to it. Brainstorm, Urza Saga was what I was looking for. So put back this and this. Then Prismatic Ending for white, blue. You're gone. Urza Saga, trigger, dash Ragavan. Let's go. Alright, now it's me versus the clock. Race forever. Give me a Mother of Runes. Oh, Sword of Fire and Ice out of their deck. Not worried about that one anymore. Oh, they hated the Wasteland. That's alright. Ragavan is still doing Ragavan shit. So dash the Rag. I can cast basically anything I hit here. Like Knight of the Reliquary is a sweet one. Rain Sun Zenith, no help. Swords of Plowshares. Alright, I'm not going to cast that one. You were safe there. I have my own. Top of my deck is Retrofitter Foundry. Knight. Zap it. Their life total is staying real thick here. But someday this Ragavan will hit a creature I can play. And flip Once Upon a Time. I think I do want to cast that. So green, colorless. I'll take Grim Lavamancer. Put it into play. And here's Retrofitter Foundry. Let's party. I did just expose myself to choke more than I needed to. I hope it doesn't punish me. Alright, they packed it up. LOL in the chat from them, and then conceded. Yeah, LOL. My deck is mono removal spells and yours is mono creatures. Good games. Really good match there. I'm on the play, and I'm going to keep this hand at the old Stifle start. Maybe someday I'll stifle somebody, but for real, Legacy players are pretty good against playing around Stifle these days. I say that, now we're going to get someone immediately. Just wait. Nope. Didn't fall for it. Alright, so I'm going to ponder off of this Volcanic Island. Ragavan's a good one. Alright, so Ragavan in hand, Lightning Bolt on top. Hope I don't have to stifle them because I am super into Lightning Bolt in most Volcanic Island matchups. So they could get me here. If they fetch, I fetch to stifle. They stifle my fetch. They got me. Okay, this is the mirror. Cool. Oh, this is not the mirror. I take it back. Take it back so hard. So I could let them... Yeah, okay. I'm not going to stifle this activation or this trigger because I'm drawing Lightning Bolt and I have a second clean answer that lets me keep Stifle in hand. Actually, I have multiple clean answers to this card in my hand. I guess now the question is, do I want the lightning bolt? Because I could just plow. And the question is, do I think that they're going to have Daze in their build of this deck? Mere Battle Ball, jeez. Okay. I don't think this is going to be a Daze deck, but okay. I hope I'm not wrong. Yeah, I would rather dash Rag on an empty board than have to spend all my mana. Because Daze will either get the Swords of Plowshares now or the Ragavan next turn. So, yeah, let's just make him have it now. And if Rag connects, then Daze doesn't matter for the rest of the game. Alright, it's gone. It happened. Soul Guide Lantern, you don't say. Alright. I am gonna dash Ragavan and leave up blue and white mana. This Soul Guide Lantern is probably gonna be pretty good here. Seems like a good chance of that. Alright, Ragavan, go. Go, little monkey. Steal from them. We stole the City of Traders. That's not a card we can actually steal. But Soul Guide Lantern can clip that Battle Ball right out of the graveyard. No sweat. And just graveyard hate against this deck that's already indicated it cares about the graveyard. Good stuff. I'm gonna have to figure out how to beat this Urza Saga. I could stifle one of the constructs or the tutor. I think Stifle might be part of this plan. Painter Servant. Okay, resolves. So I'm gonna have to stifle the tutor because that gets Grindstone and wins the game next turn. Alright, no it doesn't. Okay. How do I want to sequence this turn? I think I want to start with Ponder off of my Tundra, because that leaves up the most answers to Painter Servant, like this here Lightning Bolt. I think I would rather waste the Volcanic Island, because they can use this to Red Elemental Blast my Ragavan or my Lightning Bolt. They should smell a rat here. In this, taking them off Volcanic Island means they also can't make a construct on the way out the door with Urza Saga. Alright, bolt this now. Then dash Ragavan. Here we go. Back in there again. Wasteland. Best friend of 1-drops. Exiled in Ancient Tomb. Alright. Still holding up Graveyard Hate, still holding up Stifle. Their Urza Saga is going to die. It can't make a construct. It does get to tutor. I guess I could have stifled the tutor. Yeah, maybe that would have been smart. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Another Urza Saga. Sure. Rag, keep working, buddy. Keep doing what you're doing. We'll play my land for the turn. Dash Ragavan. I'm tapping my Caracas so I have all my colors available, which might not be the right play, because if they do have Lightning Bolt, shit. Alright, yep, blew it. I'm gonna draw a card off Soul Guide Lantern and see if I can do something about this. Nope. Alright. Yep. I was just saying maybe I should be not tapping my Caracas in case they have Lightning Bolt, and blew it on the turn where it mattered most. Alright, this Mox Opal still doesn't tap for mana. Just pointing that out. Alright, I'm gonna need a way to win this game. I'm gonna stop playing lands too, because I have enough of them. These Stifles will keep the board stable here. Stifle that. Now let's see if they make a creature on the way out or not. I was overestimating what colors and how many of them I would need on my turn, and I should have just been ragging. Alright, so I'm gonna stifle the tutor and let them have the construct. Alright, they have a construct now. And hey deck, how about one of the million removal spells? Alright, there's one. So I can get rid of this. No questions asked. You're out. I need a brainstorm to fix this hand up. Uh-oh. Still have a lot of removal spells in the deck. Alright, Urza Saga. Let's race, I guess. So they can turn Mox Opal into Painter this turn. And that turns on all the red blasts and shit. If they have Grindstone, I'm actually dead right now. They go land, Grindstone, float mana off Mox Opal, flip Opal into Painter, grind me. I actually just lose. Maybe I'm supposed to sit on that Prismatic Ending, use my life total as a resource, take a few hits, make sure I don't die to something like Goblin Welder. Alright, Painter's back. So do they have the Grindstone? Yeah, they're just rebbing my Urza Saga. That makes a lot of sense. Respect it. Daze, cool. So they are kind of hurting for mana over there. I'm really glad I exiled that Battle Sphere. So land, attack with Painter Servant, okay. Another Welder, alright. I don't think that does much. Alright, Ponder, so they can pretty easily Red Blast this, but they could do that even without Painter in play. Retrofitter Foundry, Brainstorm. Okay, I'm taking the Brainstorm. That just turns this whole hand, spins this garbage into gold. Oh, that one was worth a Red Blast. Shit. Alright. Fine. I agree. So my top card is Retrofitter Foundry, which I don't think... Or did I put the Saga first? Now I forget what I actually did. Alright, so they're flipping back into having mana available and turning things not blue for a turn. If they have the Grindstone, they can win. I'll cast a 4-drop. Yes! This doesn't even matter. They can, Alright, well, definitely shuffling my deck. But they can weld Opal into Mox Amber and then... Or Opal into Painter and then back into Opal and just pay. Maybe they won't see it. Nope, they saw it. Didn't even blink. Alright, probably losing this one now. Yeah, that one turn that I didn't leave up Caracas for Ragavan, that cost me this whole game. Lesson learned. Just, I could have cast all the Stifles in my hand with the mana I had, and all that mattered was keeping Ragavan around, and I just didn't do it instead of doing it. Speaking of Ragavan, here we go. Cast him with Dash. And do I want to hit my opponent or Karn? I think I want to hit my opponent. Does that matter? And I need cards to function here, so yeah, let's go after it. Maybe I can hit something messed up, like I don't even know what I'm looking for. Alright, this is better in exile than it is in play, because they can plus Karn on it and make it die, and then they can start welding to draw extra cards. So I'm just going to leave it in exile. Which is a shame, because that's normally like exactly the kind of card you want with Ragavan. Right, now they're tutoring. Grindstone, and we're dead. Okay. You got me. I messed up that one turn. Cost me everything. Live and learn. Alright, so Pithing Needle's going to be great here. Null Rod's completely insane. Engineered Explosives also pretty good. Grafdigger's Cage affects some of their deck. Containment Priest also affects some of their deck. Blue Blast affects their deck even without Painter in play. Surgical Extraction is fine, but I think beating the board is more important than beating the graveyard. Lavamancer hits all of their welders, but it doesn't hit Painter, but I have other ways to answer Painter. I don't think I want this giant blue card against the deck with main deck Rebs. Standstill is fine, Lightning Bolt's fine, the Ragavan was good, Retrofitter Foundry I like. Stifle was medium, so Stifle can get cut. I think they'll be able to play around Daze a lot. I need some number of forces in, but again, they're a deck full of Blue Blast. So the level system in this matchup is the opponent will... Like, do I bring these in thinking they're going to name everything blue? Or do I bring these in... Or do I not bring them in knowing that I'm going to bring them in, that they're going to name a different color? And I'm not sure what the answer to that is. Alright, I'm going to bring in these cards, play to the board. Force of Will is optional. Let's go. I just noticed that my recording software was frozen, and I'm not sure if it caught the last several minutes or not. I'll check the tape, but if that's not there, I'm sorry. But nothing I can do about it now. So I'm going to keep this Ragavan hand. In case the video did get cut off, I got slowly ground out at the end of game 1, and I sideboarded, and that's where we are now. So Ragavan into play. Put them to the Lightning Bolt test. Having both Pithing Needles kind of interesting. Just blind naming something. Alright, Opal, Mountain, Petal. So, Petal, oh god, am I dead? Grindstone. Alright, I'm not dead. Not yet, anyway. So here's Scalding Tarn, and I'm going to attack with my Rag. I feel like they would have bolted on their turn if they had Bolt. But I think we're going to get in there. Yep, confirmed. Exiled a Mountain. Don't get to cast that one. I guess they made it easy to Pithing Needle Grindstone here. Alright, Grindstone is frozen. Pass a turn. I could have put this Foundry into play. I'm not sure that I want to, though. Like, they could just Karn right now, and it's off anyway. They're up to something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, they're casting Wormcoil Engine. That's a good card. Alright. All my Swords of Plowshares are still in the deck, so we got outs. Soul Guide Lantern's not really one of them. So I'm going to take my Wasteland here, hit this, and then cast Soul Guide Lantern, exile, I guess, Mox Opal from their graveyard. It doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to put them to the test of deciding, do they want to clock me, or do they want to let me connect with a Ragavan? They played Mountain, and they're attacking. Nice. Respect it. Alright. Wormcoil Engine has connected. Goblin Welder's in play as well. So I'm going to fetch Tundra and draw a card with Soul Guide Lantern. Draw a card. Looking for Plow. Engineered Explosives unfortunately hits all of my creatures and all of theirs. So, or not the one that matters. It's my creature that matters. Standstill? I don't think so. What do you think, team? Is this a good time for a Standstill? I'm going to shuffle that library. There we go. Alright, now the moment of heroism. Do I... No, I obviously just plow the Wormcoil Engine. Alright, I'm going to attack with Ragavan. See if they want to block, or how they value this Goblin Welder. Alright, cool. Ooh, I get a Goblin Welder. And my deck can actually do stuff with that. Alright, get rid of this. Sorry. And I'll play one of my own welders here. Now we can weld each other's business all around. This is crazy. Maybe I'm just supposed to Pithing Needle Welder and not play theirs. Maybe I'm supposed to just Pithing Needle Welder anyway and take the 1/1. Because, like, I can weld treasures into Soul Guide Lanterns now, and that's a draw engine. It's also a graveyard hate engine against their welders. But we can weld each other. That's, like, a thing that Goblin Welder does. It's any 2 artifacts in play, as long as the graveyard is controlled by the same person. Alright, I'm just going to attack. They might want to trade off with Ragavan, they might not. But I'm getting in there either way. The second Rag makes this pretty easy. Alright, they're just trading welders. They respect Welder more than Ragavan. It's a reasonable thing to do. Okay, they're flipping my Grindstone, or my Pithing Needle into a Soul Guide Lantern. Fair enough. They're giving themselves outs to draw the Painter. Makes sense. Alright, exiled land I can't play, and then I have a second Needle for a Grindstone. Yep, just shut those off again, please and thank you. Grindstone, and then I think I do want to play the Retrofitter Foundry. Just get that to work. And now we just rag them 12 times. They're at 24. Or they'll just concede. Just let me have it. Here's that thunder back again. If you hear that. I think the mic's picking it up right now. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Alright, not sure if my sideboarding made it onto the video or not last time, so I'll review it now. I basically cut Daze, Force Will, like Daze because their deck is really good at jumping ahead on mana. They have Ancient Tomb, City of Traders, and Mox Opal. Cut the Stifle because it can hit some important things, but it's never going to like screw them out of the game. And then Murktide Regent and Force of Will are just expensive investments that get hit by Red Blast. And I did not bring in my own Red Blast because I'm not sure of the level system where they're a Painter deck, they name blue. I'm going to be happy I have Red Blast, but they're a mono red deck. If they don't name blue, if they just name like white instead, then I have 3 dead cards in my deck. So I'm just going to ignore that level system. And I have enough spot removal for the various welders that I think I don't need Pyroclasm as well. Okay, I have Bolt, 2 Needles, 4 Plows. All of the prismatic endings are in, plus Engineered Explosives. Yeah, let's go. 2 Force of Will still on the deck for Karn. And I'm leaving the Standstills in. Maybe I should go down to 1 and bring in a 3rd Force of Will on the draw, but it's too late now. I've clicked. Alright, I'm going to keep this hand. I don't think they're a Chalice deck because they have Goblin Welder. Oh, and Grindstone, obviously. Yeah, Chalice is really good against this deck. They would not be a Chalice deck. So just keeping the removal around is a reasonable line here. Like, removal is just really good against Painter Servant, which is awkward. It makes it a combo deck where that removal is good against, which has always been one of its weaknesses. It's also sometimes a Blood Moon deck, so I should be considering that at least a little bit. Alright, they entombed a Mox Opal. So I think I just want to plow this Engineer. Do I care about the Engineer? I think I might want to leave up Stifle and Plow in case they have a Painter. Like, I don't think I'm worried about Goblin Engineer. Like, it's significantly less scary than Welder, because Welder can put things like Mirror Battlesphere into play. Alright, so here we go. Hit the Welder again. Ignore the Engineer. No respect. Standstill, huh? That's interesting. So I'm gonna brainstorm. And if I find Urza Saga, maybe I'll jam this Standstill. Alright, Grafdigger's Cage. Okay, I'm not jamming this Standstill. Not this turn anyway, though I think it might be good at some point. The Cage looks good. Stifle is starting to look pretty bad. It's an easy pitch to force. So I'll float the Tundra on top, and I'm just going to play Cage now. I can decide if I need this Tundra or not next turn. Feeling good about the Force of Will, though. And if I can set up a 2-turn line where I cast True-Name and then cast Standstill, be pretty happy with that lineup. Alright, the worst things that Welders can do are in check from the Grafdigger's Cage right now, so I'll take that. I think I do want to draw this Tundra. And then True-Name. If they Red Blast this, then I still have Force of Will. Alright, that just resolved. So they either don't have Red Blast or don't care about this card. Mountain and another Engineer. This could get tricky. It's the many Welders. Oh, I probably should have stifled that. I can stifle the Welder trigger, though. Yeah, this can put any artifact in the graveyard for Welder to pick up, but they don't actually have any artifacts in play right now. Alright, Sundering Titan is under control from Grafdigger's Cage. Ooh, if any artifacts end up in my graveyard, they can weld my cage out of play, which is a pretty big deal. Alright, is white or red more important to have 2 of? Probably white. Oh, I already have 2 white. Damn it, should have gotten Volcanic Island. I'm a dummy. It's fine. We know that already. Okay, so Retrofitter Foundry, that also helps get control of the post-standstill board state. Alright, let's come to a standstill. Let's take our time. Alright, standstill's in there. It's not time to attack yet. I'm going to make a few tokens first. I think they have to just ram into this standstill because they're really, truly not winning this game if they take their time. Duretti. Alright, Duretti's very good. Standstill triggers. So Duretti, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. Yeah, that can bust open a standstill game, but we're not even really playing a standstill game. Is this something I want to Force of Will? I think so. Alright, yeah. I'm going to force this. It is among the best cards in their deck. So yeah, that's a good thing to force. And now I have a Plow, so I can clean up some Welders. Just if I need to. Ragavan, cool. Alright, Soul Guide Lantern. Let's get rid of that Sundering Titan. Now and forever. It's not a card I want to think about or worry about at all. So I think I'm going to attack for 3 and then cast Ragavan. And then I can either make a Servo or cast Plow. But I do want to start dealing damage to my opponent, especially now that they're tapping Ancient Tomb. Karn is starting to become a concern. So let's just get in there with the creatures that we have. Also, explosives on 2 kills multiple of their things and none of my things right now. So it's a good place to be. Alright, attacking with Welder is reckless. Yeah, okay, they figured it out. Alright, in for 2. What's the last card? Worm Coil Engine. Alright, I have that covered. Kind of. Ooh, I actually don't have that covered. If I try to plow it... Oh, actually, yeah, we're good. So I plow this, they weld it into Mox Opal, it's gone, and then I can explosives on 0. Alright, fine. Or I can just leave True-Name Nemesis in play to fight this thing. Which of these things am I more worried about? This is actually really hard. So if I plow the Welder, then they have to commit now. Okay, yeah. So I think I want to hit the Welder. Like, True-Name Nemesis can actually just block Worm Coil Engine forever. Trample is not one of the words it has. And then I can make servos to pull ahead elsewhere. I think playing this explosives on 0, or not 0, 2 right now makes sense as well. So explosives on 2. They are empty on their side, so yeah, I am just going to blow this now. Clear the board out. Worm Coil Engine versus True-Name Nemesis, dual decks. And hope they don't rip Karn off the top. And I am going to draw a card off Soul Guide Lantern. I already have a piece of Graveyard Hate in play. Let's move forward with this board state while it's still mine to move forward on. Brainstorm, come on. I think Needle Ragavan. Needle's fine. Actually, Needle doesn't really do anything here. And Ragavan... I need a lot more going on before Ragavan's good. There are not 6 colors of magic for me to Prismatic Ending that Worm Coil Engine, no matter how hard I work. This is a shuffle. I was looking for Swords to Plowshares here. Alright, ship it. I have multi-turn lines where I can start to make Thopter, or make servos and then turn them up into Thopters. And eventually I can fly over this Worm Coil Engine with the fun of True-Name Nemesis holding the fort. And I'm not shy about making land drops right now because with 6 mana, I can make a servo, untap, turn servo into Thopter. So I'm making a Thopter a turn instead of a servo a turn. Oh god. Battle Ball. Oh, that's scary. Shit. Alright. That actually will win the race against me. Believe it or not. So, I'm gonna fetch, get Volcanic Island. Then 1, 2, 3, make a servo. Or it's 2 to make a servo, 3 to untap. Alright. I'm using all this mana anyway, don't worry. Untap for 3. Then turn one of them into a Thopter. Oops. Someday I'll know how to click this card. Alright, make a Thopter. Alright, we're making Thopbays. And now Construct plus... Ooh, can I Standstill here? Is this absolutely batshit insane? Am I winning the game if I Standstill? So let's do some math. If I Lightning Bolt Amir, so this will deal 7 to me when it attacks. And then I can make a servo, or I can make a Construct double block. This is gone. Chump this. I take 7, 8, 9, 10. I take 10, I go to 3. Alright, we're going in. Bolt. That. I'm just exiling mirrors at this point. This is exciting. And then jam Standstill. Let's stand still. Let's take our time. So I'm going to take 9 this turn. I'm going to kill the Battle Sphere. And then... Oh shit, Urza Saga was a really good draw over there. That changes everything, and now I probably lose. I need to draw my own Saga. Alright, so I'm taking 6 this turn. And they should probably attack with a Worm Coil Engine too. Ooh, if they don't attack, that's so good for me. Oh, they didn't attack. They're wussing out. Now I get to make a servo that I shouldn't have. That Urza Saga is gonna murder me, though. I need to draw my own right now to keep up. Shit. That did not go to plan. I did have that beat though. That was a cool board state to jam Standstill on, but it turns out that they're also playing the card in my deck that makes Standstill good. Alright, so end of turn. Servo. Untap. 4/4. I think I'm gonna need fat on this board more than just material. Alright, so they get to make an enormous construct. And then another one, and then tutor something up. They're probably going to tutor Pithing Needle to take out my Retrofitter Foundry. So I should do any retrofitting now. So make a servo, then untap Foundry, and then I guess I should make a Thopter. Alright, maybe I should have made a second construct there instead of even one servo. I'm going to have to break my own Standstill this turn. Sucks. Make this servo into a Thopter. I fully expect the Needle to come out here. Maybe they get their own Foundry and just overpower me. That's also a reasonable thing to do. Either way, I'm screwed here. I'm gonna have to break my own Standstill, then beat their board somehow. Like, there's not really another path out of here. Their constructs are too big. They got Grindstone, interesting. Right, maybe they just don't have a Needle? Or are they holding the painter and they're just betting that I'm not going to be able to answer it with 0 mana? Which is entirely probable because there's only 2 forces in my deck and one's in the graveyard. Right, here comes combat. Yep, here come the jerks, all of them. Yeah, I'm taking 6 straight up from the battle sphere. Like, that just happens. And then I'll make the block I lined up 5 turns ago. I should save my Thopter. That can be a 4/4. But I have to absorb the damage from these two because I don't really have life to lose. Alright, so they lose their battle sphere. I don't take any damage. Alright, deck. How about Urza Saga of my own? Alright, well, gonna have to shamefully bust my own Standstill here. Enjoy the cards, opponent. Alright, Swords of Plowshares is a good one. So is Urza Saga. Saga, trigger. I can plow the Wormcoil Engine and chump the other cards for a little while. Of course, if they found a... Oh, they're just milling me. Cool. I didn't want those Ragavans anyway. Take them away. Alright, they just cleared my Brainstorm for me. Deal. So if I plow the Wormcoil Engine and they have Painter, I lose. Tormod's Crypt. Okay, I don't think that does anything. And it makes the constructs bigger, but that's what it does. Alright, they're firing in with everything. I'm going to plow the Wormcoil Engine. And then I'm going to make a servo. Leaving up enough mana to brainstorm into plow if I need to also beat a painter this turn. I think I need to leave the mana up. Like, I could flip this Thopter into a construct and just eat their creature, but I'm going to need to have answers to painter. Alright, brainstorm, let's go. Help me. Help me. Please don't have Red Blast. Oh no. Those are not the cards I needed. I needed this last turn. I guess if I... You know, but then I lose to their creatures if I cast Null Rod. Alright, yeah. I'm dead. Oh, this game. That was the most exciting Standstill I think I've put on the stack in a long time, and they drew Urza Saga right off the top arena. I had to bust my own Standstill. That gives them the painter. Rough stuff. Oh, they just named blue like a maniac. Red Blast. Red Blast is the card in my hand. You're dead. There's casting Duretti. Alright. So they're activating Duretti. Guarding Lion's Eye Diamond. They still have enough mana to activate Grindstone. Alright. Yeah, they are doing it at the appropriate time, it seems. And by appropriate time, I mean it doesn't matter when they do it because I'm dead. Alright, you got me. Insane match. Came down to a standstill that lost to an Urza Saga. Ouch. Yeah, Urza Saga. Such a cool card. Doing cool things for the format. This is my first ever turn 1 rag on the play. I'm going to keep it. So, I was thinking about the last game, and number one, you all know this by now, but I confirmed that the video did not get interrupted. The freeze in my recording software was just a visual thing, and it was still running the whole time. I could have taken 6 from Wormcoil Engine on that last turn of the last game, and just left up Plow for the Painter, and like I was at 11. The board was approaching stability. Like I could have just left up Plow. What's the problem? So that was definitely something that I should have considered and didn't. The good news is, though, that my opponent just pondered and my Ragavan is sitting in play still. Now I get to see what all the fuss is about connecting with Ragavan on the play. Turn 1 Ragavan on the play. They shuffled their library, so they did not stack their library against Ragavan, which is one of the tricks you can do. Just ponder and put a card you don't care if they steal on top. But this one is actually just drawing wild. Here we go. Hit a ponder. The nuts. Well, I'll cast it. Dreadhorde Arcanist, here we go. Retrofitter Foundry, Ponder, Wasteland. I don't think I actually want any of these cards. Yeah, I'll just shuffle that up. And play Urza Saga. Good luck over there. This is where they're show and tell, and we're just dead. Always played for the worst. The basic planes. They are a person of taste. They are frantically digging for Swords to Plowshares right now, though. They played around Daze on the Brainstorm, but they can't play around Daze on the Plow, which they're lucky because I don't have it, but they do not have the ability to do that. We've made it to my turn. Is it an upkeep Plow or just no Plow? Alright, looks like no Plow at all. That's my favorite kind. I'll play my Scalding Tarn and just get my attack in first, see what Ragavan wants to do before I decide what I'm doing with my mana. Decide how much mana I have with a Ragavan connection or not. This is a card they put there with Brainstorm. Okay. I hope they didn't want that. Do I want to Brainstorm now? Yeah, I don't think these Swords to Plowshares are going to be good in the matchup, and I can use Treasures to activate Urza Saga. So, yeah, the Daze is a banger. I am going to shuffle away the Plow and the Bolt. Alright, cool. And then I'm going to fetch right now. There's no reason to let them get to their turn and dance around my fetch land somehow. Here they are in their main phase, wondering where their Terminus went. They worked so hard to set that up, and now it's gone. But I do need to respect Terminus. Ooh, they're Bant. Okay. Do I care about this card? I think I can race it. That's the line I'm committing to right now. I'm not dazing because my mana is going to be best used producing constructs right now. They did not shuffle, so this library is stacked against my Ragavan. I don't expect anything good to show up. But luckily, Ragavan has converted into construct phase of the game. Ragavan. Bonus Rags. So I think I want to get Retrofitter Foundry. Like, Soul Guide Lantern can preempt an Uro, but I think I can beat Uro with this hand anyway. But Retrofitter Foundry preempts Terminus, which is a card that actually could mess me up a bit here. And I'm going to attack for 6, see what Rag does before I play my Wasteland. Rag connects. Icefang Coatl, sure. I don't think I want to spend 2 treasures to cast that. Nah, I'm in fact quite sure that I don't. Alright, so they're dead on board. Do they have Terminus? I have a Force of Will and a Daze to try to force this last little business over the finish line. We can also use Library to set up a Terminus to Brainstorm into on my turn. So that's another line to consider. They, of course, only took 1 card off Library. They don't really have a lot of life points to play around with right now. Abundant Harvest. Bummer. That is not what you want to spend your mana on right now. They chose non-land. Got a Swords to Plowshares. Okay, sure. Do I want to exchange a treasure for a servo? And I think that I do. It's still an artifact either way, and I think material on board is worth more than a random mana in this spot. Brainstorm into Terminus is the thing that can change that, but now I have double force, double blue card. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. do I want to spend a ponder or do I just want to servo up? So 6 or 5, 6, 7, 8 or 6. So if they plow one of the constructs, they take 4, 5, 6, 7. I can make it 8. I can't really make it unless I'm committing the Force of Wills, which I probably am at this point. So yeah, let's just turn them in. Here come my creatures. Swords of Plowshares. I think I have enough forces to spend one here. Just put them to the test. See if they're dead. If they like fetch Coatl or Brainstorm into Terminus from here. Those are all cool plays. But I have Daze and Force still. Try to fetch. So they don't have Terminus that they know of. They might have Brainstorm and try to YOLO Terminus here. But that turns on Daze. Ooh, another one of those. I'm just going to keep fighting this. Let's go. I'm committed at this point. Alright, yeah, they're scooping. Got in there. Okay, uncontested Ragavan on the play is pretty strong. I'm willing to acknowledge. Not that I was really fighting that fact, but I do now acknowledge it. So Pyroblast is probably reasonable here. It can clear Coatls out of the way and beat up on cantrips, all of which are things that I like doing. I gotta watch out for Endurance, so just make sure that my creatures are big enough to punch through an Endurance. Prismatic Ending is nice for Sylvan Library. And this is a deck that has Swords to Plowshares and Terminus, so Murktide Regent I'm less in love with than normal. I'm more in love with Standstill than normal, if that's even possible. So is it just 4 for 4? Daze is out, Rebs and Prismatic Ending in. As Grim Lavamancer is also a threat that can represent a lot of damage over time and requires a different sort of answer. I mean, it gets scooped up in a sweeper the same as anything else. I can stifle Terminus triggers. What do I think is good to do here? I think I'm just going to do this until they show me something else. I don't think I want the surgicals. Like, I might have to beat Uro eventually. Actually, if this game goes long, I will definitely have to beat Uro. But I have Plows, Soul Guide Lantern. I have ways to beat Uro. Alright, this is the deck. In I go. Got another turn 1 rag. Let's keep it. So I have a turn 1 rag, and if they answer it, I have a turn 2 dashed rag. Let's hope this is good. Hope they're not secretly a Stifle deck. Alright, they're fetching around my Stifles. So they're committing to either 1 color of mana or a non-basic right now. Alright. I love the tension of Stifle versus Wasteland. That's just so satisfying. Being on this side of it anyway. Like, they can't Swords to Plowshares right now because they didn't get white, but if Misty Rainforest were to get white, then they'd be exposed to Wasteland, which I can waste, and they couldn't just wait to see if I have Rag because then I have Stifle. They have the Plains, they have the Plow. Alright. You did it. Survive the first wave. So now I can jam Standstill right now and bet that I'm a better Standstill deck than them, or I can dash Rag. And I think I want to dash Rag. And then next turn I can hardcast Rag plus Standstill. And they have to Force of Will to not take this hit right now, which is a 2 for 1, which I'm also pretty happy about. Okay, they can Brainstorm to at least mitigate the outcome of Ragavan. But they're still taking the 2. I still get to ramp. Coming from the control deck side of this, most of the time, the first Rag is usually like, okay. Like, we've been answering Delver for 10 years now. We know how this works. But the second Rag coming in with haste is the one that you're like, oh, come on. And Sorcerer Speed removal doesn't work. They can't Terminus this thing. Can't Council's Judgment get Prismatic Ending. Alright, picked up another Terminus for my trouble. Yeah, they actually didn't want that one there. I don't think that was a mistake. So next turn I can hardcast Rag, cast Standstill, and then if they like flash in something like Hull Breacher in response to the Standstill, I can Lightning Bolt it all before Standstill. Or like Coatl. And they don't have double green for Endurance, so I don't have to worry about that right now. I could also just Wasteland them, go to combat, and then do all this second main. Yeah, I think Wastelanding them is pretty hot here. I know how control decks work. You don't want to get wasted. Okay, floating green like that. Now if I move to combat, I'll know if they have Coatl. But if they cast a spell, then we're still in my main phase. Like, they have a chance to dodge a Ragavan attack if they pass priority, but then they lose their mana. Alright, they just had Coatl. Not a big surprise there. So that resolves. And now I'm going to cast Ragavan and Retrofitter Foundry. Alright, Rag and Foundry. And then I can stand still next turn. Drawing Foundry was a big game. Like, that actually does completely change. Just like tenuously ahead and hoping to draw Urza Saga versus slam dunk easily ahead. Sure. A prismatic ending would be pretty good here. They had it. They had it. It's fine. I can still lightning bolt Standstill. Got a brainstorm. Just gotta hope they don't have Shark Typhoon. I think I'm the only person who plays that in the Bant Shell, but wow, would it beat me here. Mostly I just want to draw Urza Saga. If I can lightning bolt this Coatl, jam Standstill. If I draw Saga, I don't even have to lightning bolt Coatl, which is pretty great. It's just strictly better than lightning bolting Coatl. Abundant Harvest for, what are you looking for? Alright, they do want lands. So that Wasteland was clutch. No attack. A lot of respect for the dashed Ragavan, and I think that is the correct way to play. So this Misty Rainforest gives me a lot of options here, so I'm gonna start with a Brainstorm. Didn't find the Urza Saga, so I don't need this Plains or this Tundra. Not really in the market for land drops right now, unless they're Urza Saga. So fetch. I can ponder and try to find Saga, which I think... Yeah, I think that's better. Like, if I ponder and find Urza Saga, then I don't have to lightning bolt. Okay. We got there. So I'm going to jam Standstill right now. Let them have the Force of Will. I'm going to ignore this Coatl. Alright, and they did not want to force down to just Misty Rainforest in hand. Yeah, like, I get 3 cards if this resolves, and I get 2 if it doesn't. It's a good deal. And my Retrofitter Foundry is already gone, so unfortunately the best thing to do under Standstill is answered. But I do get to do more stuff. And I doubt their deck has Wasteland in it, and if they have something like Wilt or Return to Nature, then that also pops the Standstill. At the 5th land, you got it. After abundant harvesting for a land, they drew a land. Terrible feeling. I feel for them, but I'm glad it happened, because I want to win the match. Alright, Wasteland finds another spot. Take out that Tundra. Now they're probably actually glad they drew another land. Deck doesn't do much without 4 lands in play. If they don't pop their Misty in response to Urza Saga, I can get Pithing Needle and just name Misty. Just get another Stone Rain that way. Alright, they're still attacking. They're ready to take 3 damage. Alright, so end step Saga. The fact that they haven't cracked their Misty yet makes me think that the Pithing Needle's going to get them. Then 1, 2, activate. And oh, do I want this or do I? Yeah, I do want the needle. I just name Misty Rainforest. Got him. And Soul Guide Lantern stops possible Uro shenanigans, but against Uro shenanigans, we're already drawing 3 cards, and I have the Swords to Plowshares. So we've killed 3 lands this game, and now I have 6 power in play. And they need to let me draw 3 cards if they want to do anything about it. In we go. 3 damage. Let's see. They take 6 from 13. I take 1 from 19. I think I'm ahead in this race. Okay. Standstill's popped. They get to Brainstorm. So do I if I need to. Have I ever mentioned on this channel how much I love Standstill? God, that's a good card. Alright, so I'm going to Brainstorm because I can stifle a Terminus trigger if I find a stifle. If they have Hull Breacher or some garbage here, it'll get caught up in their own Terminus. So I don't need 2 lightning bolts against the Bant control deck. The plows will answer their creatures just fine. Okay. You can cast your Terminus. And it also resolves. Good job. Put the tokens on the bottom of my deck where they promptly disappear. Sylvan Library, okay. Alright, time to find another Urza Saga, or the second Standstill. Shuffle away those bad Brainstorm cards. And Ponder. Alright, we're gonna get to Dig. I'm tapping my red mana because Prismatic Ending is something I'm interested in. Alright, Stifle, thanks for showing up. I shuffled the last Ponder, so this one's already random. Pyroblast, Brainstorm. And these are excellent cards. Do not shuffle. So I can Brainstorm here and put back Plow, Lightning Bolt. And I can still Ponder one more time. Using the white mana to do it. Murktide Regent. Okay. That's the kind of card that is good here. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Alright, do not shuffle the library. Let's go. I could stifle their draw trigger, but I think I can do better. Like, they don't have any double colors of mana right now, so that turns off, like, Jace, Narset, Uro, Bathing Needle. Okay, so that's probably going to name Urza Saga. Which is fine, because my 3 Ponders and 2 Brainstorms didn't find one. Thank you very much. Nope. Stifled. Finally stifled a fetch land in this league. Now they're pondering down to 2 cards in hand plus whatever Ponder comes up with. So my Murktide Regent is going to have to blast in there. I have Pyroblast for a Teferi. That's one of the things Bant can do to answer Murktide Regent. Swords to Plowshares is just going to resolve, unfortunately. They did not shuffle their deck. Alright, Abundant Harvest, that's why. They can shuffle it that way. And they get a basic land. So their hand is basic land, 2 mystery cards. Alright, Murktide Regent, time to be an 8/8. So Regent, 1, 2, spell, 3, 4, 5. There you go. 8/8. Dead on board, pass the turn. I'm gonna stifle the Sylvan Library activation. I just don't want them to have more selection than they need to have. Like, you better beat me with those 4 cards. Yeah. I think fighting over this, looking for Plow, is a better plan than waiting for them to cast Teferi. If their last card in hand is Teferi, they have 2 cards left. Alright, Uros, whatever. It does get them out of Regent range, but do I want to plow the front half of this thing? So if I attack for 8, they go to 3. They gain 3 more, they go to 6. They're still dead. If I plow, that they go to 17, which takes a turn off the clock. So basically, I'm betting that I can get this game over with faster than they can. Their cards they draw with Uro are going to matter. Oh, I'm drawing Lightning Bolt. I guess I should have exiled the... Oh wait, no, they're just dead. I knew that was there. I forgot about it, but still worked out to my advantage. I'm just jamming it now. And they're dead for Xaxes. Murktide Regent finally showed up. That one's just been sort of lingering in the deck for 4 matches so far. Alright, GG's. On to the final round. On the draw, in the final round, playing for 4 and 1. I have a hand with Ponder and Stifle. I have the 2 of the more awkward threats in the deck, but I am going to keep this. I'm partially here for science to see what the range of keepable hands in this deck is, and I think this is fine. Like, this is not an embarrassing Magic hand. It's got a plan, which is stay alive until you can cast Murktide Regent. They also just played a fetch land go and let me make my land drop before they fetched. So, Stifle is alive. Also, what deck has Arid Mesa in it? What are you doing? Oh god. Arid Mesa and Mystery and Forest, the classic combo. Let's hope they're not a Stifle deck. Because I am. I'm busy being a Stifle deck. You don't get to do it too. Would I rather have Lightning Bolt or Swords to Plowshares available? I think I'm going to get the Tundra, because that way next turn if I ponder into Red Source and Ragavan, or if, like, my draw step plus ponder is Red Source Ragavan, I can actually cast them. Alright, so that puts a squeeze on their mana. So that makes them more likely to fetch a non-basic here, which gets my Wasteland in the zone. Alright, so this could just be a blue-white deck that hasn't heard about Prismatic Vista yet, with that Arid Mesa. I'm not sure what's going on over there. So I'm gonna get my Wasteland in, like, just give me that. given up on the Ponder into Rag plan, even though I did find the land. I actually think Force of Will is excellent here. And Lightning Bolt. I don't really need Lightning Bolt, but I think Force is great. The third land's great. So this is a path. I guess Force of Will might be a little wild against a deck with no mana. Alright, another Arid Mesa. So they have more than one of this card. Maybe this is some sort of Jeskai deck, and not just like a blue-white control deck. Ragavan. Alright, I have multiple answers to that jerk in my hand. So I don't think I need the second Lightning Bolt. I'm trying to get Murktide Regent into play here. And I want to kill Ragavan in combat, because that stops them from dashing the second. Which, I mean, is fine. I have 2 outs to it. But I'm still going to do it this way. And I'm going to lead on Lightning Bolt, because Plow can kill bigger creatures, and I'm going to take out the X1 where I can. So this is some sort of Jeskai Rag deck, much like myself, but they have Arid Mesas, unlike myself. Ooh, I could Murktide Regent and Ragavan with Force backup, or I could jam True-Name Nemesis, which they probably can never answer. Alright, I'm gonna do the Regent Rag thing. Or I could actually dash Rag and still cast Regent and get a hit in on them, but Lightning Bolt breaks that up, so I'm gonna go with Regent first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a little 6/6. 6/6 boy. This plays into Daze, but if they want to cast a Daze when they're facing down a 6/6 Murktide Regent with no permanents in play, you got it. Alright, so they just didn't have Bolt, didn't have anything, and I have Force of Will in my hand. Feel like we're ahead here. This is what happens when you don't play around Stifle. Alright, scooped it up. Next game. Yeah, that was pretty sweet. Worked out well. So we're in some sort of Jeskai mirror. Daze is usually pretty good in these sort of deck mirror, in like Delver mirrors, but this isn't really Delver, and Ragavan totally changes the goodness of Daze. So I think I'm going to try to play to the board almost exclusively. So Murktide Regent gets answered by Pyroblast. Grim Lavamancer answers everything. Blue Elemental Blast hits most things. Prismatic Ending hits most things. The sideboard plan should look familiar because we've been doing it all day. So I think that all the Dazes are gone. 1 Force is left in the deck. I love the curve of this deck, by the way. Just 24 1-drops and just, you know, a few of the other things. So these cards come in. And do I want Engineered Explosives over the last Force of Will? Do I want Pyroclasm? I am not convinced I want Pyroclasm. I might want Engineered Explosives. I don't think I need Bathing Needle. Definitely don't need Grafdigger's Cage. Yeah, Pyroclasm is the last mystery here. Like, if they are... They might be a Stoneforge Mystic deck. Like, why are they Jeskai, I guess is the question. I don't think they're playing the same deck as me because they have Arid Mesas in their deck. Though maybe this is the same thing as me, but they just have a different basic land distribution. Like, I have the 1 basic plains, and I commented how weird that is. So maybe they're on a build that has a mountain instead. In which case, Arid Mesa is great. Alright, until they show me Stoneforge Mystic, though, I'm not going to bring in Null Rod. I have a bunch of removal spells here. Still ready to fight a Stoneforge Mystic, either way. Here we go. Okay, so hand is super soft to Wasteland. Has a turn 1 Rag. Doesn't really do anything else. I actually think I need to ship this. Okay, this is the exact opposite, but in a good way. I'm going to keep this. Having my mana under me in this tempo mirror with 2 removal spells is not a bad place to be. Misty Rainforest, is it Rag or Ponder? What do you got? Or they've just learned to play around Stifle. Also reasonable. Ooh, I have Rag. So do I want to cast my Rag into their Lightning Bolt? Yeah, I do. I'll put you on the back foot. Let's go. I guess what I'm worried about here is they Lightning Bolt my Rag, then they dash theirs. But they didn't play theirs on turn 1, so I don't think they have one. Unless they have the biggest brain on the planet, where they're just like, I'm going to pretend I don't have Rag, just so I can set up this dash line. Alright, Wasteland, you got it. That's why I kept this 4-lander, because I want to make sure I'm playing the game, no matter what they do to me. Stifle, I like those. I'm leaving up Plow instead of Red Blast, because Plow Answer is the only haste thing that they have. And I don't think I want to be beating up cantrips in this matchup. I think I want to point my rebs at Delvers and Murktide Regents. They did not shuffle or play any cards. Cool. Alright, Handful of Answers continues. I am definitely the control deck in this matchup right now. Saga, okay. So this is a mirror. Wasteland would be a great draw, or my own Saga. Brainstorm, yeah, I can party with that. That was a good draw. Found my own Saga, awesome. Also found every single card I want to tutor with Saga. Cool. So, put back Soul Guide Lantern probably. Actually, which one of these would I rather put on the stack? Just cast. I think I want to tutor the Retrofitter Foundry and cast Soul Guide Lantern right now. I'm drawing whatever I... Yeah, so I'm drawing the Prismatic Ending next turn. So Saga. I'm going to cast Soul Guide Lantern because I can cantrip off of that or slow down Murktide Regent just up front. So I think exiling Lightning Bolt is the play. If they do have a Murktide Regent, it'll be smaller now. And I can stifle their Urza Saga activation, one of them. I just got to figure out which one is the right one. Also, if they have Wasteland, I can stifle their Wasteland. That's a big play right now. I'm not going to reb the Brainstorm after describing how important stifling Wasteland is going to be. Because if they're doing Saga stuff and I'm not, I'm in trouble. But drawing a natural artifact pulls me ahead on the construct size battle. Yeah, they can fetch freely here. I am not gonna waste it on a fetch land when Urza Saga's sitting right there. So we're in my turn. Saga triggers. So I have Swords to Plowshares. I guess I'm drawing the Retrofitter Foundry and there's no way around that. So all of the thought I put into what cards to put back with Brainstorm just didn't matter at all. Alright, so I can beat creatures. I have a lot of answers to creatures. I think I want to stifle the Tutor. Alright, so stifle the Searcher Graveyard. I don't want to get crushed by Retrofitter Foundry here. Alright, so you had a Pyroblast for that. So I'm going to make my construct in response in case they get Pithing Needle and name Urza Saga. I want to make sure I'm still on the board. They're going to have a 3-3 versus my 2-2 right now. I'm going to play Retrofitter Foundry next turn. So I get to make a construct. Look for Pithing Needle. Yeah, I can't tutor up the Retrofitter Foundry, which is just a huge beating. But I can exile theirs. Yeah, maybe I just Needle Foundry, or do I don't know. This is tough. Alright. No blocks there. Alright, so I'm drawing Retrofitter Foundry, and then I'm activating this. I get a 3-3, then they become 4-4s. So Needle comes in. Do I just name Foundry, or do I exile theirs and hope they're dead? I could name Arid Mesa, which is a card in their deck that's not in mine. I think that's fair. So name Arid Mesa, and then I don't want to play my Foundry into Daze, so I'm going to Prismatic Ending their Foundry. I don't want that to get dazed either. I guess like plowing their construct is the thing that plays around Daze. Or it just lets them daze me, but I don't care that much. Tough turn. Alright, yeah, I'm going to plow the untapped construct. Alright, they had the daze. Okay. Fair enough. I get to attack for 4. Let's go, let's go. Yeah, this game is crazy. It's like chess, but both players have multiple queens that can show up as a surprise. And the queen is Urza Saga. You attack, I'll block, I promise. They actually had a sweet attack if they have Lightning Bolt. I block one of their things, and Lightning Bolt kills both of mine. Yeah, sick line. Alright, so go after Retrofitter Foundry with this. With Pyroblast backup, because this is going to be really important. Alright, so that was worth a Force of Will to them. What I was hoping for. Red Elemental Blast, that one. Alright, oh, they had Blue Blast, and I'm out of red mana. Bummer. Alright. So we're both going to end up with Retrofitter Foundries in play. Yes, do I play around Daze, or do I just get on board here? Alright, I'm going to keep getting on board. Just hope they don't have Daze. Because I think I actually lose to Daze here. They're brainstorming. They're looking for the Daze. Looking for some out to this thing. Because I'm slightly ahead right now. They found the Daze. Beating. Could have played around it. Right, but they can't activate Foundry this turn, so I'll take this opportunity to trade with one of their constructs. Like, they can double block here. And because they have Foundry and I don't, I think working through their constructs is just the right call. Again, if they have Lightning Bolt, they get to Plague Wind me. Alright, looks like they didn't have Bolt. Or I guess it doesn't matter. They could still have Bolt. They didn't. Oh no, they found a Saga. They have Saga and Foundry advantage right now. Alright, yeah, they're way ahead. I gotta push over this finish line somehow. Like, True-Name Nemesis and Murktide Regent are both pretty good draws here, because my opponent's at a low enough life total that a couple big attacks could close it out. But I think I have to draw a card with Soul Guide Lantern. Oop, maybe I attack first. Yeah, I actually think I attack first. Like, they can just trade their construct for mine, or they can chump with a servo, or they can take 3. Any one of those is fine with me. I don't know how they get 2 artifacts in play this turn, but starting next turn, my construct will just be too small and irrelevant to do anything. So they made a servo. Now, are you going to chump or are you going to trade? Those are your choices. Alright, deal. That's not how I was winning the game. It's time to draw a card. Come on, True-Name Nemesis. Ooh. Alright, that does deal damage to my opponent. Maybe. They have Lightning Bolt, Swords to Plowshares, they could tutor up Pithing Needle. There's a lot of reasons this goes wrong. But this is a clock. Wasteland takes me off red. That's a pretty big beating. Basic Plane strikes again. Alright, I have red mana now. They are a Stifle deck, so I'm gonna wait for... Well, assuming this is a mirror, they are a Stifle deck, so I'm gonna wait for them to make a construct and fetch in response. Alright, so now I can get my red. My last red's worse than the deck. Another Wasteland and I'm just off it. So construct's too big to kill right now. I guess I could have zapped Servo and that takes 3 power off the board. I actually think killing Servo is better than going face here. I'm not winning the damage race if I just go face here. So taking a power and toughness off each construct plus removing the 1/1 itself all seem pretty good. Oh, they're out of tutors. Interesting. Someone recently commented on one of my videos that I don't have to play around Daze every turn forever. And we're gonna lose to like a turn 7 Daze here. Like, after they dazed me, already showed that they had 1, and then I was like, okay, maybe they don't have another, and boom, dead to Daze. So that is still a very real concern at every phase of most games. At this point, I need a brainstorm to fix this, and even then, I think it's too late. Like, I just need True-Name Nemesis, or I need, like, Murktide Regent to just cheese a win here. Alright, so I gotta go 2 to the face right now, and then I need to draw Murktide Regent, and it just has to just work. Like, there is no backup plan. Murktide Regent, be an 8/8. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it can be exactly an 8/8. And even then, Retrofitter Foundry can make Thopters by then, so I don't think I actually have a way into this game. Like, it's draw Murktide Regent right now, and then top deck Lightning Bolt or Swords to Plowshares for their Thopter token the next turn. And that's not either of that. Okay. They learned how to play around Stifle, and they ended up winning the game. I forgot how to play around Daze, and I ended up losing the game. Okay. Let's fix this. So now we know exactly what's going on, and it is the mirror. Needle, I do have 1 in the deck, and I think that's probably the right number. Retrofitter Foundry is the best thing. The Standstills are a little dangerous, and on the play, now I get to cast Daze. Alright, I think I'm gonna bring in Dazes on the play, cut the Standstills. Like, the fact that they are also a Saga deck makes the Standstills suspicious, and that's my deck now. Alright, let's go Rag Daze. With a red source. I'll be specific, since the monkey paw likes to curl on me. Volcanic Island Rag Daze in the opener. Let's go. I have turn 1 Retrofitter Foundry with turn 2 Urza Saga. I mean, that's a way to approach this matchup. I don't know if it's the best one, but I'm going to do it. Just get my Foundry in before Daze, in before other things. If they force this, that sucks, but him to Turok, not bad. Working my way towards Murktide Regent. I'm working my way back to you, babe. Okay. Force of Will. Pitching Ponder. If they have Wasteland, that probably looks good to them, but I do have lands to keep making land drops with. Oh, do they have the Rag? No, they're just playing around Stifle. Smart. Who taught them that trick? Alright, I'm gonna just pass here. I'm not gonna do like an ugly brainstorm, because this match might get grindy, and what am I even looking for to cast with 1 colorless mana right now? No thanks. They have the Wasteland. They should go after Tundra, but let's see what they actually decide to go for. Because if they go after Tundra, then I can't activate Saga for 2 turns anyway, and I never get a construct. Okay, sure. That's fine. I would have gone after Tundra. Though I guess Stifle is a consideration. Alright, so now I can brainstorm. If they Red Blast my brainstorm, it's fine. I can't Red Blast them back, so I'm just not going to bother. So I don't need all these lands. Tundra can go away. And I think I want to go... Have I seen Stifle out of them yet? I don't want to make fun of them for not playing around Stifle for the entire league and then lose to it. So I am just going to pass without pondering. If they tap any mana, if they tap out at any point, I'm fetching. But we'll see. Arid Mesa, there's that card again. Cracked it. No fetch. No Stifle in response this time. You can have it. Unless they tap out, I am just going to draw that Tundra again. And then I can fetch with Pyroblast backup, which is pretty enticing to me. You just really don't want to lose to Stifle, don't want to lose to Daze. If I can rule out a number of cards that they have, that's going to be helpful long term. Do you want to shuffle this? I don't think so. Like, I can play this Grim Lavamancer, and it might beta Swords to Plowshares, which my whole game plan has been working up to Murktide Regent. So if they plow this, that's a good deal. And Ponder on top of my deck, I don't really want to shuffle with Misty Rainforest, because I do want to cast that Ponder. My opponent hasn't really done anything in a couple turns. I don't trust this Regent, though. We've seen Pyroblast and Swords to Plowshares. Caracas. Luckily, Murktide Regent. Not really a legend. Ooh, okay. So now I am going to shuffle. I don't want them to get this Ponder off me. And they can't Stifle right now because they have Caracas. So I get Volcanic Island because I'm holding a second white source. And here comes the monkey. Hope it's not too bad. Stifle. Alright, good thing I fetched. I could Stifle the return this to your hand trigger. Blew it. They had a chance to keep their Rag. Okay, so time for Murktide Regent with Red Blast and Red Blast backup. It's not the biggest one I've ever seen, but it is bigger than anything else in play right now. So it resolved, which means I don't think they have Red Blast. They could still have Plow, though. I'm just going to start Pyroblasting cantrips, because I don't want them to find the Plow that can remove Murktide Regent if they don't have it already. Had it already. That's fine. Figure it out. I can Bolt Ragavan, but they can pick it up with Caracas. God, that's a good interaction. Alright, maybe I just let this hit me. Is that possibly right? Versus, like, discarding Lightning Bolt for no reason? I'm gonna let it hit. Maybe they'll tap their Caracas post-combat for some reason, and I can get a Lightning Bolt there. Would have been a good card to have, though. They're doing something. Murktide Regent. I'm gonna Red Blast that. And they pick up the Ragavan. So they have one mystery card now. Maybe my own Caracas? Okay, Wasteland their Caracas is a good one. So I could just sit this Wasteland and play. When they dash Rag, I can waste Caracas. And then give them the choice to pick up their Rag or run the bet. Because I could have wasted them off red too, and then they can't even Rag. But I don't think that's as good. Alright, hit the Caracas right now. I guess if they have Blue Blast, I'm in some trouble. Wow! Alright, well, I can counter that. They did have Stifle all along. A dirty trick. Stifle was in their deck and they still didn't play around Stifle game 1. Alright. They have one mystery card in their hand. Time for a top deck war. Urza Saga off the top. Easy money! Who's the monkey pirate now? In comes Rag. Please give me a Murktide Regent. Flip a Murktide Regent. Nope. Flipped an Urza Saga. Well, at least they didn't draw that. Okay. Here we go. Let's see what that last card is. They have perfect information. They know I just have Ragavan. They're passing the turn. So, Lightning Bolt and Swords of Plowshares are problems. Draw Caracas. Prismatic Ending. Alright. I just have to keep dashing here. Hope that they have nothing. Hope their hand is just like a bunch of red blasts. Narrator. Their hand was not a bunch of red blasts. Okay. Back to top deck mode. I have an answer to a permanent, but Ragavan will never be in play to get hit with a sorcery now. Oh no! God, this is not good magic. I don't think. Maybe it is. I don't know. Is the sorcery speed removal never works. Nickel and dime each other. You did not get my Murktide Regent! Oh my god, that's the thing I wanted to do last turn. My opponent is cheating. Alright, so I gotta find an answer to Murktide Regent real quick. And that also means I don't have Murktide Regents to draw anymore. So I need a red blast right now. Great. Okay, so pretty sure we're dead now. Prismatic Ending can't get up there. Ragavan will never be in play to target with that. My opponent won the Ragavan RNG lottery, and I did not, which I'm not mad about. We both signed up for this. It's just unfortunate that it broke their way first. Alright, here they come again. I take 7. They get more cards. God, they get a Ponder. They get my Ponder? All of this was avoidable with the Swords of Plowshares. They did not shuffle their library. That's bad for me. Fetching their Arid Mesa. Alright, deck. What do I need here? What's even helpful? Something to remove the Regent, perhaps? And I can stifle the dash trigger, and then Prismatic Ending does answer Ragavan. Is that how I want to do this? I'm still dead on board to Murktide Regent, so I have to stifle Ragavan's dash trigger, and then Prismatic Ending Ragavan in play, and then I also need to draw an answer to Murktide Regent. Like, I think that's the way through this game. Alright, so there's the dash trigger. Stifle that. Bang. Come on, deck. Let's draw an answer to Murktide Regent. Pay me out for this. Yes? Did we do it? Did we do it? Alright, I'm at 4. I'm gonna go to their turn because I can hardcast all their forces and shit anyway. Did we thread the needle? Are we back to top deck mode? Yes! Oh my god. That was the play of the day. Here in the final turns of the final round. Pithing Needle. What do I name? What do I name? Nothing yet. Dash is not an activated ability. It's an alternate casting cost. If they play Urza Saga, I can name it before they can activate it, but I don't want to preemptively name it in case I draw one first. Okay. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Their hand's got to be full of just reactive shit at this point. So I'm not super confident in any of this. But here comes Ragavan. Let's just hope it's a bunch of red blasts. It couldn't counter a red card a turn ago. But they weren't looking for removal spells a turn ago either. So Plow, Bolt, all good here. But a Bolt on Ragavan and a Plow on Ragavan both actually keep me out of single Bolt range when I crack my next fetch land. Oh no, they found a Brainstorm. Ugh. They're pondering after their Brainstorm without a shuffle. We're looking for a shuffle on this ponder. Yeah, they chose to shuffle their ponder. Oh shit, they found Saga. Well, I do have the Pithing Needle, assuming my Brainstorm resolves because I stacked the Flooded Strand on top of it, assuming I wouldn't want it. Alright, let's go. Please resolve, please resolve. Okay, so these two can go back. And then I'm gonna ponder. And probably shuffle. Yes. Shuffle your library. Yes, please. Pithing Needle. Name Urza Saga. Okay, I have Needled Urza Saga. So they can tutor up Retrofitter Foundry in 2 turns, and I need to find another answer to that before then. It's not gone already, is it? Mine's gone, right? Yeah, that was my turn 1 play. Alright, so yikes. So they get to tutor up Retrofitter Foundry, make a bunch of servos immediately. Alright, I'm not winning this. Yeah, they drew the Saga before I did. And I don't think I have a way to like pick up and reset this Needle on Retrofitter Foundry, which is going to win the game on its own from here. Mine's already gone. Like, this even beats my Urza Saga, even though I've already turned them off. So I need a Brainstorm into, like, True-Name Nemesis. Yeah, I don't know what the path forward here is. I think we're just going to die slowly to 1/1s. There's one of them. And they're at 14. That's, like, not even a reasonable amount of life to try to cheese out. I don't think Lightning Bolting the servo does anything. Hopefully they make a Thopter. They get greedy and just try to make this a 4/4 instead of make another 2/2. Yes. Alright, cool. That costs 3 to untap. So that does let me clear this with Lightning Bolt before they can 4/4 it up. They should have just gone wide with 2/2s. I'm at 6. Or with 1/1s. I'm at 6. Just flood me. Speaking of flood. Alright, still not playing any of these. Gotta maximize that Brainstorm when I find it. My only way to win this game is some Murktide Regent cheese, but I'm out of Murktide Regents, aren't I? Yeah, because they stole one of them. There's one, there's the other. Yeah, I have no Murktide Regents. I have no Retrofitter Foundry. I can't activate Urza Saga. The only card left in my deck that can win the game is, I think I have 1 or 2 Ragavans and the True-Name Nemesis. Wow, that's not good. Yeah, my Grim Lavamancer is gone. 1, 2 Ragavans are dead. I have 2 Rags and a True-Name Nemesis, none of which line up particularly well against Retrofitter Foundry. And my opponent has 7 cards in their hand. I expect at least one of them is a Red Elemental Blast. Or Force of Will. Okay, we actually cannot win this game. Yeah, the only thing I can do to win this game is time them out. But no, I'm actually dead on board right now. Okay, can't even do that. Alright. GG's. That was pretty cool. Like, that... I'm impressed how many times this deck full of standstills and cantrips and stuff came down to a top deck war. Like, this felt kind of like Jund, where we're just like, let's just 1-for-1 until the bet being that when the dust settles, I'll have better things to do than you. And that might have been true 2 weeks ago, but now, if every deck has Urza Saga in it, the whole standstill I have Urza Saga gimmick isn't great. So I think this deck is really cool, but I think that it's pretty clear that it's technology from last week already. I think that the meta has adapted. The doesn't have a great plan for Urza Saga mirrors. In Wasteland is a thing, but you could do more. Like, there's definitely slots in the sideboard that you could dedicate to, like, actual factual disenchant or Hurkyl's Recall, or, you know, stuff like that if you just really want to bust the mirror in half, which I think would be a reasonable thing to do here. Also, I don't know what cards exist that could draw cards, like some sort of steady stream of card advantage, because running out of cards, I mean, Retrofitter Foundry is that, like, that is our card advantage engine, but running out of cards was a problem with this deck, which is not surprising because it has like 25 1-drops in it or whatever. So that's something else I would look at. Like, can we go a little bigger? Replace the standstills with accumulated knowledge and just accumulate some knowledge. Can we play like Predict to combo with the Brainstorms and the Ponders? Like, we'll know what the top of the deck is some amount of the time. Yeah, there's definitely something cool here to brew around. And the whole experiment of let's put all the most expensive cards from the most recent set in a deck and see if it works does seem to work. We got Ragavan, Urza Saga, Murktide Regent, all present. And that was pretty cool. Like, this was scrappy, it was grindy, we made a lot of decisions. I think I made some mistakes in some of the games we lost. I think I made mistakes in the games we won too. And I think I made some cool decisions that kept us in games longer than other people may have stuck around for. Like, I'm still proud of that Stifle the Dash top deck the answer to Murktide Regent. Chef's kiss. Gotta find those lines. But Yeah, that was a really fun league. A lot of decisions made. You got your money's worth on this video. I'm sure it's going to end up being a long one. Basically, every match went deep into time. So thank you for watching. Again, Lauren, thank you for loaning me the Urza Saga so this league was even possible. Everyone else, make sure you like and subscribe. Comment where you think this deck is going in the future. Comment how I could have won the other games. Comment what you learned, etc. Like, whatever. Just let me know what you learned. Let me know what you think. The comments are below. And I will see you all next time.